for the Mercure Hotel Parramatta Canterbury Stakes. This is at weight for age Group 2 level here for 3-year-olds and upwards. And gee, there's already been a big go for number 1, Malcolm, Richard.
Caroline, the punters bit up on the first on crosswise. They've chanced it really back. $1.90 the tote. On track, it's the other side of even money. So you...
Just about set. Often racing in the second of the day. And Cheeky Choice began nicely. Who's My Mum going up on the outside, and Newton's Rings was fired out of the stalls as well to go forward. He'll settle down, metres to go, and Who's My Mum's on top by 3/4 on Cheeky Choice under a good hold. Then came Newton's Rings, followed by Malcolm. He's coming through in the centre to trail Cheeky Choice into the straight from Cosy Bay, and last of all is Regal Exposure. As they turn for home now, and Cheeky Choice raced up and has taken the lead, and the filly shot for home. Malcolm's trying to follow it through the gap. Newton's Rings can't do any better. Cosy Bay the inside. It's Cheeky Choice in front, Cosy Bay, and now Malcolm starting to surge up on the outside. Cheeky Choice and Malcolm settling down to fight it out. Malcolm takes the lead, and Malcolm the favourite's going to win it. Malcolm wins it from Cheeky Choice. Cosy Bay a good run third. About 4 or 5 to Newton's Rings, followed by Who's My Mum, and last in was Regal Exposure.
Carnival, that's what her target is. She won't have the horses with the experience as Malcolm and the class.
And Cosy Bay, good performances, the runner-up and the third place getter, but Malcolm carrying the big weight, drops, was $13 to $9 now for the Doncaster Handicap. Rich, is he now mature enough as a Doncaster type of horse?
Most definitely, but what he'll need is beautiful sunny skies. I think you hit the nail on the head. If Malcolm was in race 9, I think he would have been scratched with the downgrade of the track. Nick
you saw the new Doncaster favourite Apache Cat at Sandown yesterday. You're looking at Malcolm. Is he a threat to the big fella?
I doubt it. I'm very much an Apache Cat.
There's the gap, and away he goes. If he doesn't ride it that perfectly, it doesn't win.
Yeah, he cuddled it. It had 59 too, and, and the good filly had 53.5. So he knew Beedman. He's a master. This horse ran right up to his terrific second up form, and it was a good win without getting carried away. Like he's in the market for the Doncaster on the second or third line. I think that's going a little bit overboard with him. Cheeky Choice ran well first up. And
on as the Riesling Slipper trial as well for the 2-year-old fillies heading towards the Golden Slipper, and what an exciting race it is. Plenty of good fillies here, and they look fantastic in the yard. We have the Blue Diamond winner, Sleek Chassis, Forensics, who of course has won 2 from 2. Mimi LeBrock, the Magic Millions winner, and it doesn't end there. 10 minutes.
Safe and sound, press the button, which is pretty good news for those supporters.
Miss Wattigan began brilliantly from gate number 1. It's in front of Illuminates. Mimi LeBrock came out well also, and will just jag back in behind those 2 leaders, followed by Press the Button, who was away well. Sleek Chassis starting to stride forward, 3 wide at the moment. He's a little bit fired up. Jockey trying to restrain, leads by a length and a half. Illuminate second. Around the outside goes Sleek Chassis into third, but it's 3 wide on a limb. Kicking up in the centre, Mimi LeBrock. Press the Button is on the rail, and then came Forensics, Megalass and Hurried Choice. And last of all is Sashenka. They're about to turn for home. And the leader, Miss Wattigan, with Illuminates getting a little bit closer, 2 lengths to Mimi LeBrock, who's off the bed in third spot. Press the Button was next. Sleek Chassis dropping off, and further back behind them next Forensics, drawing down towards the 3, and Miss Wattigan just in front of Illuminates. Press the Button has burst through in the centre. Press the Button has taken the lead, and then came Mimi LeBrock. Sleek Chassis getting its second win, and then came Forensics. It's Press the Button in front. Sleek Chassis is coming after it on the outside. Hurried Choice late, but Press the Button. Press the Button has won it from either Hurried Choice, Sleek Chassis or Forensics in a photo. Mimi LeBrock every chance behind them, followed by Miss Wattigan. And then we've got Sashenka, Illuminates, and last in was Megalass.
What a good run there. Press the Button, number 4 for Glen Boss. She was first into the...
Caroline, a terrific performance from Lindsay Park.
It sure is. A big smile on the face of...
Discuss it shortly. Press the Button had interrupted preparation going to the Blue Diamond, but is on song now for the Golden Slipper. Hurried Choice good from back. Sleek Chassis good on pace, and we'll get to the Hawks duo shortly. Huey, you rode Mimi LeBrock in that race. She looked to be in the right spot coming to the corner.
Had a lovely run, and she's a filly that puts herself in a good position. She did it in the Magic Millions, and she did it yesterday, but she just lacked a bit when she needed to step up and be counted. She just didn't have what it took yesterday.
Wayne, a good professional performance. She's got issues with the barriers, as we know, but once she's on track, she's pretty good.
Bruce, I think the key to her was coming up to Sydney here. She'd probably been driven mad down in Melbourne, getting used to the barriers. She played up badly. She went into that Blue Diamond probably in the wrong frame of mind. She's come up here to Sydney, and from all reports since she's been here, she's absolutely thrived. She was flying on the track. I think she had a nice run yesterday. Her stablemate Sleek Shazzy never ever saw the rail, or didn't even sight it.
It's in the better going according to the deal.
Well, maybe, but I think it does help.
It's been the form line leading into the slipper here, and look, this filly went into the Blue Diamond first up after that little bit of a barrier setback. She's come to Sydney. She still may yet to peak where her stablemate Sleek Shazzy's already peaked in her Blue Diamond, but oh, geez, her run was good. It's a matter of which one of those fillies can train on, go home and enjoy the run and just kick on from that.
The big improvement might be Hurried Choice. I mean,
she went well, didn't she?
It did improve.
And Gildings for the Group 2 Jacobs Creek Sparkling Todman Stakes over 1,200 metres, and there is number 1 Shaft. He's only had one run, and he was underneath the cover there because, as you said, it was getting very dark and very black, and those clouds have certainly come over the top here with the rain as well.
I was going to say a point better than that $2, or sorry, a third of a point better than that $2. Two's out. Zizou 560 is spot on. It's firm 2 points. Maurice 12.10, 5 points longer. It's firm 4 points. Warhead heavily back, $5 a tote. About over a half point shorter than that now. I'm trading $111. It's 4 times that.
Starter's got the buttoner off and racing. I Am Invincible only fairly out of the stalls. Maurice began well, and Shaft is going forward, and Zizou up on the inside. And just in behind them, Warhead settling in 4th spot. Followed by I Am Invincible, who's pulling for rain, getting on horse's heels and checking. Followed by Arlington in the lead. Ran a length and a half clear. Shaft is running 2nd. Warhead right on their back in 3rd spot. Maurice the outside 4th. And then came Arlington, I Am Invincible, who's settled better now. Followed by Aqua Calder Pleasure Time. And Debating is struggling back at the rear of the field. It's the heavily backed Zizou in front of the favourite. Shaft getting a little bit closer now. Beedman starts to ride him along to come up on the outside and challenge Warhead behind them. And then came Maurice and Arlington into the straight, and Shaft goes up to Zizou as they draw to the 300. Behind them, Maurice the outside, and then came Warhead. It's Shaft, Zizou and Maurice coming up on the outside. Bowman's asking Maurice for the effort now as the 3 of them settle down to fight it out. Shaft in the centre's got a narrow lead. Maurice on the outside goes up and puts the head in front. It's Maurice, Shaft and Zizou, and Maurice is going to win it. Maurice takes it out from Zizou and Shaft, and then came Warhead and Arlington, followed by Pleasure Time, Debating, Aqua Calder, and last in was I'm Invincible.
Maurice getting there for Hugh Bowman, getting up on the outside of Zizou, finishing 2nd.
Tell you what, great training performance by Gay. She's got him to settle. Everyone thought he was an out-and-out
Racing, he transferred the horse to you?
Well, I'd seen the horse in Melbourne. I had
$1 for the Golden Slipper becomes Hugh Bowman's ride in that race. The first horse since Terce in 91 to try and win the Todman and the Slipper in the same year, but I think he's got an excellent chance of doing so. Gay first up since horse taking over from Melbourne with some new connections and original owner Jonathan Munns and breeder Strategic. He's by. Strategic couldn't win the Slipper, but this horse, Huey, can he win the Slipper?
I think after yesterday's performance, he's definitely a chance.
Leave out the 5th horse. I loved owning it as a 3-year-old. Arlington. Loved owning it as a 3-year-old. I really just think now that it's had a few...
Win there, he did travel 3 deep all the way, and he beat his more fancied rivals there. It still leaves the Golden Slipper way open, and the barrier draw will be very important. Would you agree with that, Gay?
No, I don't think it's way open at all. I think it stands up between 2 or 3 horses. I think that the horse of Tim Martin's deserves to be favourite. He won the Breeders' Plate brilliantly. He won the other day the group race brilliantly, and he's the horse to beat. I think that this horse has been
makes the Group 1 at weight for age level, 2,000 metres here. They're going to contest this Group 1 over, and it's 12 minutes away from start. Firmed in particular, although Sulukwa just continues to firm just by about another 20 cents here. 2 minutes away from start time, $1.80 now for Desert War on the tote, and he's just a fraction short of that on course.
However, and they'll come into view shortly, and Desert War, the favourite, is going forward, and so too is Confection, who's going to follow him across. So it's Desert War ambling to the lead in the early stages at the end of 200 metres. Over the crossing, leads from Confection. A Vanquish was next, followed by Sulukwa. Railings in the black colours back on the inside from County Tyrone, about 7 lengths. They're nearing the 800 metres around the next corner. And Desert War sliding along at a nice even tempo by 2 lengths on Confectioner. Williams niggling at that horse to stay close to the leader. About 3 lengths to vanquish. Sulaqua hit a flat spot. He's dropped back to a clear 4th, and Brown is scrubbing his ears off. And then came Railings up on the inside from County Tyrone, and Spirit of Tara last of all. Now Bowman starts to get serious on Desert War. He's pulled the stick on the turn. With 4:50 to go, he leads by 2 lengths on Confection, and they've run away. They're about 5 lengths in front of Vanquished and Railings coming down the outside from Sulaqua. It looks a 2-horse race. It's Desert War the inside, Confectioner on the outside. Slowly but surely trying to wear down the favourite. Desert War is finding plenty on the inside. Confectioner the outside trying to get level. Desert War finds his second win. Confectioner runs off the track, and the odds-on favourite is home Desert War, with Confectioner, who wobbled the last 100 metres. Third home we had Railings, and then we've got Spirit of Tara and Vanquished. Sulaqua most disappointing, and last in was County Tyrone.
He's just a class above, isn't he, when he's allowed to roll along like that in front.
Railings went in an improved performance, and Confectioner put up a gallant performance, but he was too good for them. The Warhorse, too tough.
Certainly is. I caught him in
what, Caroline? Just watching the replay, I was still tickle pink with Sulaqua. He got going again later. He just couldn't sprint, and that's what they do.
I'm going to go Waterhouse more with Gay shortly, more than 2.5 men in the tank now for Desert War. 1.93, strolled through the first half. Huey Bowman in 1:26.78, the first 1400 home there in 35.15. Made it tough. Confectioner chased as he can. Railings a good, honest third. I think he's the new blood perhaps for the BMW. Hugh, post-race, very keen to run this horse in the BMW, and why not? Because that's basically your opposition. I can't really see any new blood there. What do you think?
Well, I think now he's capable of doing it. I think that there is a question mark at the 2400, and every chance of running distance.
We all know about Desert War, how good he is, but what about Sulaqua? Well, the rap that was on him, what
he's pulled up with the thumps, which is
so
a hard irregularity. We'll get to.
I think he's a 2-mile handicapper.
Yeah.
Do you believe he's the best weight for age horse in Australia?
Oh, he is the best weight for age horse in Australia, and he's proven that by brilliant wins yesterday, of course, and then down in Melbourne when he donkey licked them on Derby Day. I mean, just burned the track. But the other horses burned the track. But the other horses, the other great horses, that were around, aren't there. You know, he stayed sound, and he's been racing, and
he can slow it down, he can accelerate when he wants to. Nothing in weight for age races wants to take him on, and at the moment, as you say, he's meeting handicappers just week in, week out, and he's just too good for them.
Well, weight for age races usually don't run at that solid a tempo, so he's able to put the tempo into the race. The second thing is that nowadays we don't have many true weight for age performers in the races. I think 2 weeks ago there were only 2 horses racing at the weight for age level at Warwick Farm that had been in that at that level. The rest were all having their first attempt.
Gay, I understand that you and Andrew Baddock have decided this morning that the Doncaster's off. You're going to target the BMW next.
Yes, Andrew, we did, and Andrew has spoken with Mr. Koenko.
Thanks very much for that. It is the feature race here today, the Coolmore Classic, over 1,500 metres for the fillies and mares at Group 1 level, and the runners are out in the yard. Good thing is that this rain seems to have stopped. Still a bit black out there, but...
Well, they've come here for doubting, Caroline, and I just said I might be Rosehill to a dead 4, and that came through at 3.23. Number 1, Rewaya, 17.60, spot on, she's firm 4 points. Number 2, Divine Madonna. Peckerland, $70 is around the mark. Number 1, Rewaya, David Hayes, Craig Williams. She's just into double figures now. She's firmed 11 points here on track. She's our market mover. She'll go forward from that gate. Whether you can make up a lot of ground, it won't mind her. She'll be up on top of the speed somewhere. That $15.10 is huge overs. She's been a very good go.
Peckerland knuckled at the start and missed it by 3 or 4 lengths. Divine Madonna drifting well back also, and Rewire and Love and Money were the best 2 into stride, but Rewire, the heavily back runners, come right across the face of the field to take it up. Lead Pasicatira's whipped up around the outside. We've got a new leader. 8.50 to go. It's Pasicatira by a length on the stablemate Fashions of Field. Rewire's in the box seat from a country girl. Regal Cheer starting to stride up 4 deep. And then Chinque Cento, Love and Money, followed by Bell Bazaar and Batestane from More Than Lucky and Nova Star. Back on the inside, Divine Madonna Dollar from Dowding, and then Tuesday Joy, Shell Pegasus, and last of all is Pegaland. A bunching field in the Group 1 Coolmore Classic on the turn for the fillies and mares, and it's Passagatira being joined by Fashions Afield, and Regal Cheer has loomed up on the outside and taken the lead now. Regal Cheer looking to win the race, back-to-backs in front. Divine Madonna cutting back near the inside from Chinque Cheto. 200 to go, Regal Cheer's in front of Fashions Afield. Tuesday Joy is starting to eat up the ground down the outside with Dowding. It's the 3-year-old Tuesday Joy taking the lead, and Tuesday Joy for Gay Waterhouse wins it from Dowding. Divine Madonna has got third, I think, in front of Shell Pegasus, and then we've got in behind them next Chinque Cheto. Regal Cheer got tied from Fashions Afield, Passagatira, Love and Money, Betestain, and then Belbazaar, More Than Lucky, and then we've got Rewaya, who were tied badly in the straight from Peakaland, and a Country Girl was last in.
She was a long way back, as you knew she would be. Number 8, Tuesday Joy, Darren Beedman teaming up with Gay Waterhouse there to win 8, 6 and 2, getting very strong performance by a 3-year-old filly to beat the older mares here in the Group 1 Coolmore Classic. More Group 1 for that family as well. It is a wonderful family, as we said.
Big day, a very exciting day, unbelievably satisfying, Bruce. Last week we had a real chance. It was so funny that they wanted me to run her in the far lap, and I've never been so annoyingly persuasive with Duncan Grimley and John.
No, I'm never going to disagree with Gay again. Not that I disagreed with her, I just thought the Fashions Field was too good for these and saved Tuesday Joy for the Ajax and Derby.
Well, he must be thrilled that she can...
Robust discussions with Gay. I mean, she's the best trainer businessman.
Her going towards the Oaks, but have you got an inkling to take on Miss Finland in a derby?
Yeah, that I would really like to, and Gay will talk me out of this too, but I'm in the Arrowfield. I was discussed with Alan Jones recently that I'd like to see in the Arrowfield who's really the best filly, and I think then we should toss a coin. One take the Derby, the other take the Oaks, but I really got a hankering to win the Derby. I think Tuesday Joy's good enough, but after today I'll on the track now. I'd like that, buddy. Can I just say hello that? Thanks, mate.
John Singleton, owner here of a Tuesday Joy. Darren Beedman coming back in your face, but she...
Result for Gay Waterhouse, John Singleton, and of course Darren Beedman. Tuesday Joy, $7.50 beating Dowding, who was fantastic. Divine Madonna was excellent. It was a terrific lineup, a great field, and a worthy result, I think, Rich.
Very much so. She was too strong, and that's what you needed, a strong mare at the end of the 1500. It was a gruelling test. They ran along at a good clip, and she just got the perfect run. Darren rode her a treat. She got into the right spot. There was good speed all the way. Huey was in front on Passagatira, Fashions Afield, and then when a Country Girl popped out, Regal Cheer, the pressure was on well and truly from home. She got into the better part. Divine Madonna, she saved all the ground up the inside. And I thought Dowding, hasn't she really turned the corner up here in Sydney?
I think, as you mentioned, it was put on for front runners. Apart from Peakaland, who walked out the barrier, the first 4 finishers in the race were back in the last 5 placings early in the race. So there's a couple of horses raced up on the speed that probably were going to struggle with the distance, and when the rain came, it really turned the result around.
Well, let's see who wins out in this battle of the Oaks.
Well, look, the Arrowfield will be the clash because David Hayes told me this morning that Miss Finland will go there. So these two outstanding fillies will both meet next time around in a fortnight's time.
Well, they will, and it's a great thing for racing. You can't beat seeing superstars meet each other.
Right.
Miss Finland's by far the best 3-year-old filly in Australasia. She's done what Bounding Away did 20 years previously. She won the Golden Slipper, and then she went on to win the Course Oaks. And that only happens every so often. So she's an exceptional filly, daughter of Reduce's Choice. But this filly, as you asked me just previously, will Tuesday Joy get better with distance? She's like a good port. She'll get better with time and distance.
The track.
Divine Madonna's learning all the time. I thought she'd have a bit of a chance in a race like the Doncaster.
Getting a bit old to learn.
Oh, I don't know about that. She's a good mare.
She is a good mare.
Did you tell Parramatta Stakes, otherwise known as the Far Lap Stakes? And Richie, you got something to say?
At 4:40, the track was downgraded 2 spots. It's now a slow 6. So he started with a very big move for Just Mambo. Number 1, Diego Garcia. Number 3. It's now 7 points short, or 6 points shorter than that 1380. Bar Lagani.
Diego Garcia, Daedalus, Just Mambo and Viewed. 488 to be alive in the quaddie. Marie.
3-year-olds away. Barlagani came out of the stalls poorly, and Red Lord and Viewed are also well back, and Day Darlis. The Melbourne Gallopers taken up the running. It's in front of Just Mambo, who's going to race prominent today. Turban settling down in third spot, and then came... It's Day Darlis in front, inside the 600. Turban's going up underneath it, and Just Mambo on the outside, third a length away. 2 lengths to Rahib. Cluzo's hard ridden, and then came Test Edition. Amory Lane going back to the inside, but it's getting its ears scrubbed off, and further back Little Saiwan as they turn for home, and Just Mambo and Turban, they've taken over from Day Darlis. Rahib is coming right down the outside. Amory Lane was under the stick further back, but it's Just Mambo the leader. 200 to go. It's in front of Rahib on the outside. They look like they'll fight it out, but Rahib goes up to Just Mambo. Just Mambo and Rahib, there's nothing between them. Just Mambo's in front. Just Mambo has won it from Rahib. Amory Lane was third, and then Viewed and Turban and Little Saiwan, followed by Test Edition, Red Lord. Then came Barlagani, Day Darlis knocked up, and then came Diego Garcia, Cluzo.
666.60, and the daily double is $15.90.
The track, and this horse was advantaged by it, and he did a pretty good job. It looked a bit of a on-pace race. They didn't go as hard as expected, so it was very hard to make up ground here. A couple that caught my eye were Viewed from the Bart Cummings stable, and Red Lord made good ground late, so that they're staying prospects for later on.
Will we ever see horses come along the fence at Rosehill again?
Only on rock-hard tracks. Only on rock-hard tracks.
As soon as there's any moisture in the track...
cambered tracks.
I know that, but sometimes we saw at Sandown, they all wanted to get out in the middle of the track until about the second last race, I think, that the winner went straight along the fence.
Well, he's very short, Super Tab at $1.30. Bookie's giving you a bit better than that here on track. Second pick both in the ring and on Super Tab is Red Dazzler, and he's at $7.40 on Super Tab. The running of the main race here today at Sandown. It is the Blamey Stakes. It is over 1,600 metres. Now on Super Tab, Apache Cat just starting to get out to $1.40. It's getting out there as it's coming.
They're off. He may have missed it a half length, Apache Cat, and Red Dazzler's bounced to the front. Bonhoeffer began well. Apache Cat pushing up now from Spinny. Molotov going back outside Lucky Unicorn at the Oasis and Cognac Bay. Red Dazzler lands in front from Bonhoeffer. Last of all, coming up to the turn, Cognac Bay. Lucky Unicorn outside, Red Dazzler coming to the turn. A length further back than Bonhoeffer. Apache Cat will come to the outside now, be the widest runner. They leave the fence, and at the Oasis went back to the rail from Molotov. In the straight, Red Dazzler again gets the front. At the 350 metre mark from Lucky Unicorn, and now the Cat. Apache Cat is asked to let down on the outside of Bonhoeffer, and here he comes, Apache Cat. He ranges up on the outside of the 250, takes the lead from Bonhoeffer. Then further back, Red Dazzler, Spinny. Apache Cat, the class kicking in, and away goes the big Cat. Apache Cat coming away. He's too good for Bonhoeffer. Spinny Molotov battle it out for third. Oh, he's a genuine deal, this fellow. Apache Cat, 2 lengths to Bonhoeffer. Photo third. Molotov or Spinny, a gap then to Red Dazzler. Yeah, he's just lacking a little at the moment from Lucky Unicorn. A long gap at the Oasis. And Cognac Bay, probably not a good experiment. He ran last of all.
No worries about the winner, though. Number 1, Apache Cat. Step up in Dixon's next time round.
Yes, Molotov looking more and more like a 2,000 metre plus horse today.
The 3 this prep, 9 out of 20 overall, but he's in career peak form. He's untested, basically, this preparation, Shane, in those 3 wins.
No, they've all been resounding. He's much better horse, I reckon, now. He's always been a good horse. He's Melbourne's favourite horse at the moment, too. He wears those, he's got that big white blaze and he wears the white blinkers, and they just love him. But where he has really blossomed as a racehorse is that Damien Oliver wanted the lead on this horse yesterday. He assessed the event and said, well, we'll go back to the old Apache Cat, we'll ping out, we'll lead, we'll control, we'll win. He didn't come out all that well. Then he got over racing. But what you can do with the new Apache Cat is you just ease him out, let him settle behind the speed, hook him out 3 or 4 wide, get his big stride going, and he'll finish the race off for you. And that's why I think he's...
That's maturity.
Yeah. What about Bonhoeffer, Shane? That's only had 9 starts, Bonhoeffer.
Of course, Bonhoeffer. Don't doubt the...
Winner Apache Cat's now off to Sydney, as we know. Damien Oliver's been booked to ride in both the George Ryder and the Doncaster. Bonhoeffer, it's going to go to the Easter Cup next run. It's in 3 weeks' time. And Red Dazzler, well, you throw your hands up and you wonder what Mick Price can do with that horse now. He's just totally lost form.
Yeah, well, you had to be very careful with him.
Apache Cat's joint Doncaster favourite now with Mentality. How do you line them up at this stage?
I just love the way he's brought this horse up, Greg Urell, and Oh, he's flying. I'm just a little concerned he's got to the mile very quickly. He's gone 1100, 1400 already to a mile. He has to come back to 1500 and then get back to the mile again.
Well, I like him better in the George Ryder than I do in the Doncaster. I just think he was the weight for age horse in a field of handicappers, and that's what they do to handicappers. When you get close to them in the weights, those true weight for age horses, they just blast handicappers.
And runners are in the yard.
And press the button in from 41. Shaft goes out from $7. The market for the AJC Derby. What's that with two girls at the top of the market, Rich?
Yeah, Miss Finland, Tuesday Joy. I'd be surprised if both were there. Tirenabar's come back in super form. He's no pie eater. Fumicino. I was talking to young Rosehill trainer.
Look at the Doncaster Handicap, and again, we've got Apache Cat now favoured at $5.50. Mentality, the 3-year-old, $6.50. Divine Madonna good yesterday. Malcolm good. And you've got Casino Prince coming back from Melbourne. Swick, who was good last week in Melbourne. Desert War, Hurrah the Sun. Well, will he come to Sydney? G-Boss has been booked. Miss Finland won't be going there. Now, this is why Forest Knight should possibly be heading towards Sydney and pay entry fee. Prince Arthur at $4. Sulacra, $4.20. He's got to get over yesterday. Blue Tigeroo.
Minutes away from start time. The favourite is John Hawke's number 2, Deferential. But a lot of these are under double-figure odds, and it's a very open race, isn't it, Richard?
Certainly is a number 2 Differential. $8.60 Ciccone, a half point longer. $3.
One giving trouble again out wide. Racing now. Absent Friends missed the start a length, and Snell began fast and will take the lead. Don Carmelo going through to second, and Koichi's fired out of the stalls to go forward. Gently as they come to the 700 metres. Snell steadied in front, leads by a half a length. Koichi on the outside second. Don Carmelo getting the run of the race, and Gently Bentley is nicely poised running fourth. Solo Flyers had no luck, he's still wide. And then Deferential is in traffic at the moment from Royal Esprit, AC Doocy, Absent Friends, and well back was Guillotine and also Springboks, and Ciccone's doing nothing, he's back last of all. It's Snell being tackled by Gently Bentley, who rushed up, and now Deferential, the favourite, starting to chime in on the outside, and Deferential went straight to the lead and dashes for home, and he's got it won. Deferential well clear at the 100 from Gently Bentley. AC Doocy running out of his skin, and Ciccone late, but it's Deferential winning it. AC Doocy may have just got second in front of Ciccone, who's come from last, and then Guillotine, Solo Flyer and Gently Bentley all up handy up to run last of all.
Deferential for Darren Beedman. John Hawkes taking out the Pago Pago, the Blamey Stakes here today.
On race number 4, the dead heat for second. Deferential, John Hawkes and Darren
Beedman. Ciccone and I catch AC Doocy, fantastic performance at the big odds. But Shane, you've seen plenty of Deferential, and it ties in.
I heard you mention yesterday that I think the Hawks pulled this off with, who was it, Strata?
No, well, Darren Beedman rode Strata, and the last horse to win this race and back up a week later. He's a similar type of horse, Wayne, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I think the key yesterday was Darren jumping in the saddle. He has ridden him in a race before. He is a colt. I'm not quite sure how many starts he's had the blinkers on, though, but yesterday Darren jumped him out of the barriers, revved him up, stood over him, and he's a different Differential yesterday. I don't know about the Melbourne horse.
When look, you were maiden going into the race, but he comes out of that, obviously, that strong Blue Diamond form. Just had to shoulder his way out. Oliver tried to put one over Beedman there, but Beedman was travelling too well. And look, I know the depth of the race doesn't look strong on paper, but this horse really destroyed them the last little bit. Ciccone.
Club Stakes, otherwise known as the Magic Night for the 2-year-old fillies. Again, a lot of these hoping to get into the Golden Slipper next week. Camarillo is the favourite here, 3.30 on the tote, and fairly comparable.
Shorter heavily back this runner, drawn out wide, and the All Cerise. This is the Parramatta Leagues Club Magic Night Stakes. And they're off and racing. Patazi's missed the start from the inside stall. Tresor and Prima Nova were slowly out as well. And Goldam showing plenty of gate speed has taken the lead from Gamble Me. Liesel getting its head up. Moonboat going around the outside to go to third. They're well strung out, 15 lengths first to last. Goldam on top by 2 lengths. In second, Gamble Me, followed by Liesel, and Moonboat is running fourth. Behind them, Phoebe and Downhill Racer. Then came Ruapaya, when further back was Star in the East as they turn. Into the straight in the leader, Goldam by 2 lengths on Gamble Me. Moonboat has taken to the outside, starting to run on, followed by Liesel. And then came Phoebe and Downhill Racer. Camarilla getting to the centre of the track, still about 6 lengths off the lead. But Gamble Me dashed away at the 200. Downhill Racer is starting to close on the outside, and Camarilla late. Gamble Me's in front, Downhill Racer, and look at Camarilla joining in on the outside. Downhill Racer takes the lead, and Downhill Racer Wins it from Camarilla. An eye-catching run second, Gamble Me third. And then we've got Phoebe followed by Liesel.
What a great run by this filly by Danehill Dancer. Downhill racer there for David Hayes and Jim Cassidy on
Nichols.
Yeah, there could be 6 if they pull up well. If they pull up well.
All right, here's in a minute.
Yeah, look, 6 runners, isn't that amazing for David Hayes? As he said, the jockeys will be lining up, but what will be very interesting is which way he gets Craig Williams to go in the Golden Slipper.
Yeah, look, I think Camarilla's run was full of merit. Bad Barry got a long way back, and you've got to remember it was a month between runs. A month between runs. Can she back up 7 days later? I tell you what, she draws a barrier, she's right in the mix. The winner was tough, but I think Tim Hughes got plenty of good horse, and so has David Hayes. I doubt the others in the race could be competitive. I think Camarilla's the only one coming out of this race. They ran slower last 600, and they certainly ran a slower overall time, but only by 0.25 from the Colts, which I thought going into the day the fillies might run the quicker time.
Must be good horse shown that Rio Osa.
Yeah, it must be. Well, yeah.
I thought Camarilla and Prima Nova were the 2 runs in that race.
Are these the B graders running? I mean, I sort of look at them and think that maybe they're B+. They're good horses, but they're not quite the best. The best didn't come out this weekend.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's all going to come down to conditions on the day, run of the race stuff, and how the track plays. Look, she's a spunky filly, this. I'll tell you, she's a real good sort, the winner. Whether she can back up 3 weeks in a row and win a slipper is the question mark. Camarilla will win one of the big 3. Zach, you rode Moonboat in the race.
Shane, this is the feature race of the day. It is the Dubai Rosehill Guineas over 2,000 metres at Group 1 level for the 3-year-olds. And at the moment, Taranabar is the favourite. He's drawn gate number 1, but plenty of other chances here, Richie.
Great, they bet 2 points better than that $5.90. It's now over a point shorter than that $5.90. Been a very big go. Taranabar 3.10, a half point longer, still favourite. Ida 6.20, 2 points longer. Deneva $10. Who's Henry 63, can double that. Sir James $13.80, 8 points longer.
They're racing in the Guineas. And as they appear in view, it's Taranabar from the inside stall, hopping out of the gates nicely. Dan Ever was away well. So too Phil Machino. And going up on the outside, He's No Fighter and Gorky Park from a wide alley. And then came Fee and Keddo, Sir James Ambitious, General Redoute Stances outpaced. Cassidy's driving him up along the rail to try and get him to pick up, followed by Briambo's Gift Viva Caro. Henry is last of all. About 6.50 to run. Gorky Park in front. He's No Fighter went up to second. Taranabar behind them. He's popped off the inside. Dan Evers going up underneath him now and around the outside. Sir James has had a very tough run. Then came Fee and Keddo, Phil Machino starting a run as they turn. It's Gorky Park in front as they turn in the Dubai Rosehill Guineas from He's No Paida. They've come away from Dan Ever, Sir James and Phil Machino. Taranabar's lost his spot and he's doing nothing, but it's He's No Paida taking over and dashing clear from Gorky Park. A couple of lengths to Ambitious General running on from Phil Machino, but He's No Paida proving his last win was no fluke, is going to take out the Guineas. He's ducking in, but he hangs on from Ambitious General. Phil Machino third, and then came Gorky Park. Followed in behind him by, on the inside, Redoute Stancer, and then came Sir James, who was a gutsy run. He was 3 and 4 deep the entire from Fee and Keddo. Taranabar put in a shocker today, followed by Den Ever, who's Henry Briambo's Gift. And
win in the Chipping Norton. He wasn't really in a lot of people's eyes in contention for the 3-year-old Classic, the Rosehill Guineas here.
Yeah, Caroline,
he was too good.
We all underestimated him. He's No Paida. 6.80, 2.40, 2.80 Ambitious General, 2.40 Firmicino.
Well, the son of Canny Lad giving Hugh Bowman another win there. Of course, Hugh had been beaten on Desert War when He's No Paida upstaged them all in the Chipping Norton, proving it was no fluke. And can you believe he went round $8? Ambitious General unlucky, Fumicino good, Redoute Stancer okay, Taranabar very average. Rich, I think it still was a good Guineas, and there's a lot of horses we might see this week coming up the BMW. Some might go straight to the Derby.
Yeah, most definitely. Sir James's run wasn't it a cracker? Just sat 3 and 4 deep the entire trip. It was still there, the Bar Cummings horse. It's going to be right in the Derby. Fumicino, funny, he kind of come out on the turn and then he plotted. Then he got going again. Ambitious General was super. I think you just said before, Bruce, Jimmy Cassie was tickled pink with Redoute Dancer. It's going to be very much right in the mix, 1.5 miles. What about
on the corner? Well, yeah, I'm taking nothing away from the winner, who did go around extraordinary odds for a horse who'd just beaten
don't bring it up again.
One of the best horses in Australia. But I'd just like to make comment, the Quinella and the Rosehill Guineas.
The success down to the soft track there, a lot of people did, but on the firmer track yesterday, he stood up. He's very versatile, isn't he? Chance of him changing his name?
Well, I don't know. It's a dream, and
Percy Weed was a great bloke, and he's dead now, and you know.
Of that Guineas yesterday, boys. Ambitious General got skittled on the home turn, according to Peter Moody. Still finished off the race strongly, heads towards the Derby. Gorky Park's going to run next week, I understand, and Taranabar, it's also going to be nominated to run in the BMW next Saturday.
This BMW might take a bit of shape now that, you know, there's a little queries about Desert War running 2400. I'd like to see Ambitious General run in it. There's a few 3-year-olds there that may put their hand up. And as far as the Derby point of view is concerned, that Fiumicino of John Hawkes's, he's taken big leaps there. He's sort of just out of maiden class. I was a little sceptical of him yesterday, but he shaped up. He's an improver.
What about? It's the Group 2, the former race name registered as the Ajax Stakes. It's the Valai, $5.30 on the tote, double that price in the betting ring. Number 2, Shinzig, $11.90, 2 points shorter on track. Your favourite is number 3, the Free Stater, $2.90. It's about a quarter of a point shorter in the bookmakers. High C, second favourite, right on each way odds. $4, you can get a point better than that. Number 9, Dane Lee, $25 on track, about 5 points shorter than that. Also been rock solid. A bit of money now coming for High C, $4.50. They bet 2 points better, but it's only 1 point better now. Dan Lee, 24, is comparable. Brave Lancer.
Off, and missing it was Vanadoza. Belmonte going straight back with Brave Lancer, and the Free Stater came out quickly. He's up vying for the lead with Striking Victory, who's going to punch up underneath him and take it up and lead by a half a length on the Free Stater. Dan Lee, the 3-year-old, goes up to third from Newton's Rings and then came in behind. Striking Victory in front. Dan Lee's gone around the outside to go to second, so the Free Stater, who was pulling, will now get a trail, and that should suit him. Back on the inside of in. And the leader is Striking Victory by a half a length on Dan Lee, and they lead by 2 lengths on the Free Stater as they work past the 600 pole. Newton's Rings on the inside from High C. He's had a nice run in fifth spot, and he's tracking the favourite every step of the way from Shinzig. And then came Vicky Tin Blues and Flash Trick into the straight, and Dan Lee went up on the outside and takes a narrow lead from Striking Victory. Innes calling on the favourite, the Free Stater. Newton's Rings was next, and down the outside High C. It's Dan Lee, the leader, inside the 200. The Free Stater and High C are trying to go after it, but Dan Lee is in front. Here comes High C on the outside. High C moving up to Dan Lee. They're wide apart. High C's ducking off the track. He's taken the lead, and High C and Dan Lee have hit the line absolutely locked together. Very wide apart. High C and Dan Lee. Looks like the Free Stater may have just got third in front of...
To drift out. He lost some ground as he drifted out. But having a look at that, Dan Lee has got the bob right on the line. So we'll just have to wait the photo. We just can't see from the top of the frame there whether or not its nose is just touching the line as well. Looks like High C on the outside, just a whisker in front of Dan Lee on the inside. High C, as I said, down...
High C right out wide, Zach Curtin's beat.
9 Dan Lee 5.10, through the Free Stater 1.30, Quinella 66 neat.
On Jamie Innes there. High C, 52.5 in the Doncaster, currently number 58. There'll be a massive drop out there. Should get into the field, you would think, Rich?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought I was probably disappointed in High C even winning yesterday. Had everything favoured. Zach rode him a treat, and I think if he didn't get so far away from the other horse, he would have turned it up. I was really worried. I thought the Free State, he can forgive that run. He pulled from the moment he jumped out of the... I thought nearly the ride of the day, Kathy O'Hara on Dane Lee. He hasn't been putting in Dane Lee. We know he's got plenty of ability. Kathy was aggressive yesterday, put him in the spot. He just kept on whacking away, and I think Kathy thought she'd got the chocking. But this angle out wide, you've got to add something on, and it was close to the closest mark.
Joined now at the top of the markets with Sportsbet Mentality at $6. Divine Madonna, she's ready to click at $7. Harada Sun, we'll see him in Sydney next week with Glenn Boss up in the George Ryder $8.50. And Casino Prince, Rich, you've got some news.
Fantastic. We've got a top-class lineup of sprinters here going around in the Group 1 Galaxy over 1,100 metres. One in previous years. Proprietor last year, charged forward before that. Spark of Life, he's going around here. He won it in 2004, and we've had some really good sprinters.
580 Fast and Famous. They didn't bet that. It's over 2 points shorter. Been heavily backed. Black Ink, $20.50 is spot on. Biscayne Bay, $22.40 is spot on. Century Serves for 15 points, $27.80.
By Redute's Choice, just getting a pat on the nose before he's loaded into the gates. He's a lovely...
Fast and Famous. Good money for Magnus as well.
Now, we've got about 6 runners to come up. Fast and Famous and whoever, they're both in pale blue. Nearly impossible to tell them apart here with this rain falling. Black Ink And they're racing in the Galaxy, and Fast and Famous broke quickly in the centre. Also showing speed on the outside was Crepe de Sheen, and also up there is Spark of Life and Ticklish is driving through along the rail. It's Crepe de Sheen taking it up just in front of Ticklish, and Spark of Life and Magnus is right there as well. Another one poking through in the centre there is Virage de Fortune, and further back was Fast and Famous, followed by Bentley Biscuit as they sort themselves out. Century Serve making ground into about 4th or 5th. Whoever getting back into the field with Black Ink, followed by Max Tune, and De Beers is back last of all. Biscayne Bay settling near midfield. As they come to the 500 metres, Crepe de Sheen is just in front of Spark of Life, working up on the outside to a clear second. Magnus going for the split between that pair, followed by Max Tune, and then came on the outside Fast and Famous and Biscayne Bay. It's Magnus putting its head in front in the centre. Goes to the lead, Fast and Famous coming it after on the outside. Bentley Biscuit is going for a run near the inside, starting to surge through. Fast and Famous and Magnus and Bentley Biscuit. Magnus has got the lead, and Magnus and Damien Oliver take out the Galaxy. Beat Fast and Famous, not sure third, maybe Bentley Biscuit from Max Tune, and then came Ticklish and Spark of Life, followed by Black Ink and whoever out of the field.
He's such a consistent horse, isn't he, Magnus? He always tries his best, and today it was his turn to win the Group 1 Galaxy here for Damien Oliver. A good ride by Damien Oliver, punching him out to the line. Fast and Famous, a great run by him too. Look at him running on. He almost got there in the shadow.
190 the winner, 220 Fast and Famous, 730 Max Tune.
Is that sorry?
He's the slipper winner and the Galaxy winner there with the gelding, but look, he's been a fringe dweller, Magnus, and he deserves to win a Group 1. I think a drop of rain helped him. He was a very fit horse. He handles the sting out of the ground. I think the rain went against Fast and Famous, and I thought Bentley Biscuit was fantastic first up at that level.
Is the race worthy of pronounced number 2?
Tip and Woody.
Tip and Woody, that's what I thought it was. I just wanted to clarify that with my English and history teacher in CCSE. 1 Den Ever, $9. King of the Nile, $35, you can add 20 points. Pacino, $40, you can add 10 points. Vindicated.
Pacino, of which I think is the best rough chance.
So about 6 or 7 runners to load here for the... And gates are back, they're off and racing, and as they come into view, Carnegie House was one of the first into stride with Titpung Woody. Rahib is right up there, and so is Dan Ever, and Musada from that outside alley is starting to stride forward into about 5th spot. Then Ruling Power, Red Lord, Pacino, Turban and Vindicating will time. It's Turban the leader, 600 to go. Rahib's popped off the fence to go to a clear second. Carnegie House tracking up behind them from Musada. Ruling Power and Balagani are starting to make their moves around the field from Titpung Woody, Dan Ever, and further back was Turf East, and Viewed is still back second last. Red Lord's up in front of it. Turban lugging out off the tracks in front. Rahib out in the centres going after it. They're clear from Carnegie House, and Titpung Woody is right along the rail. Titpung Woody for Dwayne Dunn, who's driven to the lead. Leads from Carnegie House, and then came Rahib and Turban, and Titpung Woody has gone right along the fence and takes the lead and wins the money. Photo second, Pacino right on the line from Carnegie House, and then Rahib, who never saw out.
Opening up his stables there at Flemington. 9.23, 3.30 Tip and Woody. Pacino $8.30. Carnegie House $4.70.
Absolute Carnegie House solid. The Tallock Stakes, of course, but you're not going to the Derby.
No, I don't think that's the right thing. Look, he's not halfway done his money about $3.
It makes it easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, that was pretty easy.
Caulfield Cup horse?
I don't know about that. We'll have to wait and see, but certainly he's bred to get the trip. He's got a good...
I think Mark said he was going to the Frank Packer Plate, which is showing great restraint. He's looking after what I think is a very, very nice horse here. You don't sprint a plate without knowing the makeup of the field. Can't say zilch about the rest. That was simply outstayed. Pacino might be...
Colin, yeah, it's just firmed in about 20 cents here on course, and also just firming in a half point as we speak now.
During the week, Caroline, I thought there might have been the big money coming for Harada Sun. On track, he's been friendless. He's... he's 2 points better than each way odds. But
ahead of the Group 1, George Ryder Stakes for his call. Let's go up to Mark Sheep.
Mentality at one stage of betting, but Apache Cat now a half a point shorter than Mentality on the tote. They're a lot closer. Apache Cat 260, Mentality 270. And then we go to Harada Sun at 5.20, which is eased a point and a half on track. There has been Mentality began well from the inside, so too did Chinquay Cento. Apache Cat has dropped behind them shortly after the start. Going to ride him off the speed in about fourth, and Joker's Wild goes up on the outside. So Joker's Wild takes over from Mentality, the only mare in the field. Casino Prince second last, and on the outside of it is Arada Sun, about 5 off the lead. They haven't gone very fast, and Joker's Wild's in front by 3/4 on Mentality. Apache Cat is still locked away on the inside at the moment, and then came back in behind him. Chinquay Cento starting to edge up 3 wide. Arada Sun will get in its back, and Casino Prince is following Apache Cat. They turn for home, and Joker's Wild just in front of Mentality. Oliver will need to weave some magic here, and Apache Cat, there's a run on the rail now. Then came Chinquay Cento and Casino Prince, but Beedman puts the foot down, and Mentality takes the lead from Joker's Wild. Apache Cat, here comes Arada Sun right down the outside. Arada Sun moves up and hits the lead into Ryder. Arada Sun takes over. He's drifting off the track, but he's got the money. Arada Sun beat Mentality and Apache Cat. And then came in behind them Casino Prince from Chinquay Cento, and Joker's Wild was last in.
They've said all along he's a very, very good horse, Arada Sun, the half-brother to Elvstrom, and just have a look at this. He does plenty wrong again. He does hang out, but
the hard work to get this horse right today.
Mate, I've ignored every request to talk about the horse, because everyone's been bagging the horse, and quite honestly, these last 2 starts he's had issues, and it's been a real hard job trying to get the horse right. He's had big issues with his feet, but going into today's race, I thought he was going to be in order enough to really step up and show what he's all about. He's still green, he's still learning.
From there as well?
I suppose he's only better than Elvstrom when he's won more money, but if I put that aside, he's the best horse I've ever trained, for sure.
What's more satisfying?
a few things wrong, but look, he's a magnificent horse, isn't he? As I said, Frank Tagg said he was better than Elvstrom as well. Tony Basil saying, well, he may not have won the same prize money just yet, but he certainly has the same sort of ability as the horse that won 4 Group 1s, including the Victoria Derby and the Caulfield Cup as well, and another Group 1.
You know, I've been very fortunate throughout my career to ride some very, very good horses and one champion. And the one thing about when you get on these Group 1 horses, they just give you that X-factor feel. And as soon as I got over his neck and canted the barrels, he just gave me that chill up my spine feel. But, you know, they've just got a sense of presence about them. And he's a unique individual. He's lightly raced. And he wasn't chasing slouches there today. He's chasing 6 genuine Group 1 horses. And he had that whole race in his keeping it in his mercy from the time I entered the straight. Even though he had the race in his keeping the whole way.
On the Doncaster last year, Glenn, this horse probably gives you an excellent chance of winning another.
Well, I mean, this race is always the best trial going here in Doncaster. He drops to 52.5. I'm sure with the experience going our way, bigger field. I can't wait to get him in a big field where he can actually get bottled up and you can let him go with it.
Pegasus half-brother to Elvstrom beating Mentality and Apache Cat 33.9 home in 21.9 of a slowly run race. Shows the quality of a top-class performer. Rich?
A super performance. They didn't go that hard up in front. I thought there was no betting on the turn. I thought Mentality would win. I thought it was just a matter of just slugging out because they'd walk. Apache Cat, I think Damien said it when we spoke to him earlier, he was just in the spot he didn't want to be. A 59 with a sit and sprint. He wasn't going to be able to get them. Hugh Bowman was suspended out of this race on Chinquay Cento when he got in earlier onto Apache Cat and also Casino Prince. Arada Sun, all honours with him. I think Casino Prince is going to be a very worthy opponent come Doncaster Day, though.
Wayne, what Glenn there looks to be inside.
But I still wasn't happy with the way he ran out in the straight. I mean, he hangs in Melbourne, he hangs out in Sydney. The talent's there, but there's still some issues.
I wonder if it's his feet.
Very good horse, obviously a very good horse. You don't beat a field like that just getting on the wrong leg and ducking out and performing the way he did yesterday. He's right in the Doncaster, no doubt about it. I'm just disappointed a little with Tony. Tony, don't take things so precious. You know, you're having a go at everyone for knocking him. I mean, no one's knocking him. We know he's a good horse, and there's no doubt about that. This is the Doncaster form. Mentality went good. He was ridden aggressive out of the barrier yesterday in different tactics by Beedman, probably because he's a fit horse now. Just pulled a little bit. He'll be better under handicap conditions where they're rolling along. Nothing wrong with Apache Cat, and I thought Casino Prince was outstanding. That could be the first 4 in the Doncaster.
But you can add Devon. But You can add Divine Madonna.
Yeah,
which we'll
well,
get
she's
to.
the other.
She's got to be the other one, hasn't she?
Yeah, but this is strong weight for age form.
That's the Doncaster
race yesterday.
Hasn't everyone...
The features here, the Group 1 features. This is the BMW to be run over 2,400 metres at weight for age, and a very interesting betting race, Richie.
The big news on track is we have Railings as favourite, a clear favourite, 30 cents now in front of Desert War, 20 points. Blue Tigeroo, $16. It's 5 points shorter than that on track. It's well in the market. Sulaqua, $22. He's just firmed a half point. $3.80. You can get a little roll of the dice longer on track. Desert of 20 points. Blue Tiger Boo's been rock solid. $14. It's 3 points of overs. It's been well supported.
BMW and Desert Master on the outside missed the starter length, and the jockey's going to jag and go right back to the rear of the field. And Gorky Park, the 3-year-old, and Casual Pass were away well. Starting to stride forward is Desert War with Tyrannobar out wide on the track, and they're going forward to hit the lead. Behind them, Confectioner. Safwa back on the inside from Grand Zulu, and Sulaqua settling down in a nice spot midfield. Railings is back on the inside, and then came Spirit of Tara, Blue Tigeroo, County. Starting to quicken up now on the old boy Desert War. And as they reach that corner, he strides away and leads by 2 lengths on Tyrannobar, who's off the bit. Gorky Park was next, followed by Casual Pass and Confectioner. Safwa starting to improve along the rail, followed by Grand Zulu. Then came Sulaqua, who's already under the stick, and Railings is saving ground on the rail. Beedman's pinching runs on the inside. He's gone past 3 or 4 horses very quickly. Blue Tigeroo follows him through from Spirit of Tara into the straight, and Desert War's got a big lead. He's 2 or 3 lengths in front of the 3-year-old Gorky Park. Blue Tigeroo is coming right along the rail, and Railings is running on as well. And further back was Confectioner. Desert War's in front, but he's on empty, and Railings raced up on the outside to hit the lead. Blue Tigeroo and Gorky Park, there's 4 of them across the track. Railings and Blue Tigeroo. Blue Tigeroo's the strongest at the finish, and Blue Tigeroo takes out the BMW, and another brilliant ride from Oliver. Back in behind them we had Railings running second. Third behind them Gorky Park, and then County Tyrone and Desert War, followed by Casual Pass and Grand Zulu. Then Pentane, Spirit of Tara, Confectioner, followed by Safwa. Sulaqua was further back from Desert Master, and last in was Tyrannobar.
Damien Oliver providing another great ride there to get up and win the Group 1 BMW with Blue Tigeroo for...
Obviously benefited him. Obviously right on track for the Sydney Cup now. He must be looking forward to that. Well, I don't know about that. Yeah, it's probably looking good now. I personally didn't think he'd have it.
Andrew Kerr, the Blues, Brad Castricum, the Tigers, Sean Carroll, the Roos, Blue Tigeroo bought for $10,000 and wins a $2 million race yesterday. Railings, every chance. Gorky Park backs up again next week. Blue Tigeroo, can you believe there he is, Damien, a BMW winner?
Yes, that Ballina form strong, isn't it?
Finally what run second. But he's obviously, his run of the Australian Cup really proves that he's up to weight for age.
Yeah, I mean it was. I mean I suppose with a little bit of lack of depth in our staying weight for age stars at the moment, the gap between the good handicapper and the weight for age horse is getting a lot closer. But this horse has just hit a purple patch of form, and sort of was known as a better wet tracker, but now he's doing it on the dry, and he's really taken the next step.
Skinny run there, wasn't it?
Yeah, just had to breathe in a little bit there inside Gorky Park, but he was going good enough to get through there.
I love the way he hits the line here. I know we've had a cold little shortly. He's got a few reservations.
He's really known as a wet track handicapper, but absolutely flying. He ran a great race in the Australian Cup after winning in Hobart. Look at the narrow run Oliver takes here. That's a bare run, and great training performance by Colin Little. He's a, racehorse.
Race 6, the Arrowfield Stakes over 2,000 metres for 3-year-old fillies. Another one at Group 1 level, and there she is. Miss Finland on this day last year, she won the Golden Slipper in devastating fashion by 4.5 lengths, and she's back today after winning the VRC Oaks, and she just looks magnificent, as she always does, Miss Finland.
I've seen in a couple of years, the punters have come for 1 and 2 in their thousands, quite frankly, and I just not sure which is more supported. It's just huge, this betting race. The only other run...
Magnificent. Miss Finland, $1.60, about 15 cents longer than that on track. She's been rock solid, been well back. Tuesday Joy's been rock solid, $2.90, a flick of the coin longer on...
Rather than chasing. First turn now, 1,500 to go with Janina just in front of Tuesday Joy. Then came Calm Seas, followed by Miss Finland. So he's going to settle right on the back of Tuesday Joy, 2 lengths to Just Dancing, Bank to Fortune, and last of all is All About Us, Bank to Fortune. So So they work to the 700 metres, and Yanina in front of Tuesday Joy. Now Beasley's allowing her a little bit more leather to go up and pour the pressure on now. Miss Finland looks to be travelling well behind it. He's popping out 3 wide now from Calm Seas, Just Dancing, All About Us and Bank the Fortune. As they turn for home, 4.50 to go, and Tuesday Joy went up and put the head in front. Leads narrowly from Yanina. Now coming on the outside is Miss Finland. Can she wear down Tuesday Joy? And then Just Dancing looks to be travelling well on the outside. Miss Finland's got a fight on her hands here. Tuesday Joy's in front, but now she surges on Miss Finland. Then down the outside, Bank the Fortune and Just Dancing. Miss Finland picks up, she goes to the lead, and she'll claim another Group 1 and $4 million in the kitty. Beat Bank the Fortune, Just Dancing and Tuesday Joy. And then came Calm Seas, followed by All About Us, and Yanina has dropped out to the rear of the field.
Craig Williams, Miss World, does it again. Miss Finland, she's just so superior, isn't she? She got past Tuesday Joy easily. Look, she just stretches right out to the line, ears right back, and she is just all class, isn't she?
Caroline, she's a racehorse, she's a champion. I don't care if people say I use the word too frequently. She's an out-and-out champion of what she's done, and she proved it again this afternoon. She was there to be beaten, but when the tough got going, Miss Finland said, listen,
so easily as one would have liked. But look, she won by a couple of lengths, so you can't ask for more. The question now is, do you go to the Derby and take on the boys, or do you stay to the Oaks?
No guts, no glory, Bruce.
The Derby for Miss Finland?
Derby for Miss Finland.
I'll go back in.
Okay, mate.
John Massara, the part owner of Miss Finland, champion filly, who wins the race he sponsors, the Arrowfield Stud Stakes, Caroline.
He'll certainly enjoy leading.
She says, I'll break you, and she does.
5 Group 1s now, and she wins the Arrowfield Stud Stakes for the Arrowfield Stud team. Reduced Choice, Forest Pearl, Bank the Fortune on track for the Oaks. Just Dancing likewise. Might need a new rider unless Glenn Boss appeals his suspension from yesterday, but Wayne, she was terrific yesterday. When they got to her, you thought, well, she's going to have to dig here. And
she's all class. You know, Craig Williams has obviously got a great affinity with this filly. Like, she used to have a little bit of a habit of over racing, and you know, it just all played into his hands yesterday. Come out, he had so much confidence in her, and what I liked about her, when it came down to a dog fight, she was on for it too. Like, Just Dancing cruised up herself.
Judgment, I respect. They started to mention maybe better than Surround. You know,
that's all.
Forget about it. I don't know.
She's good. That's what you can say. This is where she did.
No, I like that. I like when I hear that, because she's starting to get the accolades she really deserves now.
When it came to a dogfight like this, Bruce, and they loomed up, you thought, I was always confident. I thought she'd win. I thought she'll grind this out and she'll win by about a long net, a half length. She won by 2 lengths going away. The other horses are very nice.
It's funny. Look, she hits a flat spot. And I've never seen a horse cruise up so easy as Just Dancing to her. Then she rallied, and then Bank to Fortune cruised up. You think, well, she's got her. And then Williams gets serious. Look, she is a champion. She is a champion. She's won $4 million. She doesn't destroy opposition. Well, the only time she's ever destroyed them, I think.
Now, how many 2-year-olds were nominated for the Golden Slipper?
2,216 were entered originally for the Golden Slipper. It's been whittled down to this final field of 16 here today, away from start time. $7.40 for Murder Jill at the moment, 2.5 points shorter than that on course. He's firmed in just a half point. Number 2, Marie, $6.20. You can add 2 points to that. Number 3, Shaft, $10. That's just remained solid in the betting press button. 7.10, 4 points longer than that on course. 26 points to that on course, just drifting a couple of points. And looking at the rest of them, they're all out at double figure odds. $13.80 there for number 16 Forensics from Gate 1.
Just, it's been for press the button.
It certainly has. We'll have a close look at her. Hopefully we can have right out of it. It's just too tough a contest for a horse to miss the start like that. It has been done, I think Belle de Jour, but he will have someone inside the store with him just to make sure he doesn't lie on the gate.
If he misses it a half...
Ready to go. Gates are back, they're off and racing. Murder Jill's jumped out okays in the first 4 or 5. Forensics jumped out well, and there goes Hassan Lightning for the lead. It's Hassan Lightning taking over from Murder Jill, driving up on the outside to second. Behind him is Shaft and Zazoo. Forensics going back on the rail, incumbent making ground from Rose Ceremony, and then came Ciccone. Maurice is back on the inside, followed by Press the Button, losing a spot, being passed by Hurry Choice and Downhill Racer. Sleek Shazzy's gone right back into the field. She She's third last differential now, going past it from Chinchilla Rose. And last of all is Vecchia Roma. 600 to go. Hassan Lightning is just in front of Murder Jill, and they've broken away. 3 lengths on Zazoo, and then came Forensics and Shaft running fifth, followed by Maurice and Rose Ceremony. Then Ciccone and Cumberland didn't get round the turn into the straight, and it's Hassan Lightning on the inside and Murder Jill on the outside, and Cassidy drives the grey to the lead. Zazoo is coming down the outside, and Oliver bringing Forensics with its run. Forensics moved up with Zazoo. They've taken the lead in the Golden Slipper. It's Forensics got its head in front of Zazoo. Maurice is starting to run on late. It's Forensics in front, and Forensics is winning the Golden Slipper. Wins it from Zazoo. Maurice was third, Murder Jill fourth, and then we've got Chinchilla Rose from Deferential. Further back was Press the Button, Hassan Lightning and Hurried Choice, and then came Shaft and Ciccone, followed by Vecchia Roma. Further back behind them next we had Rose Ceremony, Downhill Racer Encumbered, and Sleek Shazzy has put in a shocker, and she's run last at all.
Forensics, the winner of the 2007 Amy Golden Slipper. What a ride there by Damien Oliver. Darren Beatman by Flying Spur. Last year we saw Reduced Choice with Nadim and Miss Finland win the Blue Diamond and the Golden Slipper double. This year with Sleek Shazzy and Forensics has been Flying Spur. And Bruce...
Mate, excellent. It's a day we come here thinking we had chances, but we kept getting beat all day, running seconds in big races, but... that's a perfect example of what good barriers draws does for horses. Very even race, had a perfect run, come around one horse, and was good enough to get up and win. But superb effort.
From the filly, though, look, she's a very, very, very good filly. Look at Damien Oliver too. If we can have a look at Damien Oliver coming back to scale, pumping his fists, it's just fantastic, these shots that we can. There we are. Look at Damo.
Your first slipper, Damien, is it the monkey off the back? You taking it all in?
I don't know about the monkey off the back, Bruce, but I don't think there's a happier man in the world than me today. I've tried so hard to win this race. I think I've run every place but first in it. As you know, many placings, and you know, it's the Grand Slam of racing, if you like. I won the other big three, the Caulfield Cup and the Cox Plate and the Melbourne Cup, and this race has always eluded me, and it's very hard to believe I finally won it.
Don't run.
And then we've got...
Well, history in more ways than one. Damien Oliver joins a select band who have won the Big Four: Mick Dittman, Jim Cassidy, Neville Selwood, Roy Higgins and Pat Holland, winning the Golden Slipper, the Caulfield Cup, the Cox Plate and the Melbourne Cup for the first time on the son of Flying Spur, who cost $900,000. Now, to prove it, there's a full brother going to David Hayes shortly. Zizou second. I went into the racing. It was a vintage slipper. I come out thinking exactly that still.
Oh, it was a super race, and the filly proved too good. The Colts have run second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth. John Hawkes, 3 runners, and they've all finished in the top 6. The winner, 5th and 6th, I thought she was far too good. The best ride, and anyone that tells you barriers don't make a difference, they're on wacky tamaki. It's barriers win races. Barrier 1, big difference there. Murder Jill had to do too much work and then just over race.
Where can you get that stuff?
I did the money, so it was good. But I agree with everything Richard said there. You can't tell me that barriers don't make a difference. You know, Murder Jill just had to do too much work. You know, he had to be revved up, hadn't run for major.
Oh, I see. Who was number 16, to get Forensics, who was number 17, into the field.
Oh, I see, right.
Look, she's a top-class filly, there's no doubt about it. She's done all this. No real excuses for the beaten lot. Zazoo was gallant in defeat, although he had the run of the race. Murder Jill was the performance of the race, the 4th horse. In saying that, Maurice ran well, but Murder Jill did all the work. He was fired up from that outside draw and pulled very, very hard. And for him to hang on to run 4th was a fantastic performance.
It was Ronnie, just in regard...
The fillies and mares, weight for age, Group 1, Queen of the Turf Stakes, over 1,500 metres. We'll run through these totes. Richie Rawaya, we just saw in, can take 4 points off that on course. She's come in a couple of points. 2 Divine Madonna, $3.90, and it's about a half-point long. We're just starting to firm too, Divine Madonna. The cheeky choice from the Gay Waterhouse stable. She's drawn gate number 1. She's $6.40, $12.40 for 15 at that yet, but interesting to hear there is some late money there for the Gay Waterhouse runner, cheeky choice. But Divine Madonna continues to firm. She's firmed in a full point now here on course before.
They've been giving him a big rap, haven't they? The beauty.
1. Racing. And beginning well was Cheeky Choice from the inside stall. Also showing speed was Beauty Watch out wide, and Rewayer's going forward. And it's up sharing the lead as well, but it's pulling very hard, Rewayer. And Rewayer in front by 3/4 on Cheeky Choice. Fashion to Field is getting the run of the race, third on the inside of the stablemate Beauty Watch, and Regal Cheer is fifth in the centre. Downing on the inside of it from Shell Pegasus. Amory Lane still posted wide. Adamato midfield. Divine Madonna's back on the inside of it, about 6 off the lead. And then came in behind them Vitestain, Absolutely Fabulous, Dan Wassery. Well back was Cosy Bay, and Storm Alert just edging it past it. Around the home turn they come now, on the Queen of the Turf, and Rewayer quickens up and gets away and leads by a length and a half on Cheeky Choice. Beauty Watch down the outside from Fashion to Field. Regal Cheer being nursed along. He's about to pop the question, and then came Downing. It's Rewayer in front. Here comes Cheeky Choice on the outside. She moved up and hit the lead. Beauty Watch, and the runners there for Fashion to Field. And Divine Madonna is flying on the outside. Divine Madonna hits the lead and takes it out. She's come from nowhere to get up and score for Bossy. Wins it from Cheeky Choice and Beauty Watch, and then Downing, followed by Fashion to Field, Absolutely Fabulous. Rewayer knocked up from Dan Wassery, and then came Vitestain and Amory Lane. And Amato was well back with Storm Alert, and then Shell Pegasus, Regal Cheers knocked up, and last in was Cosy Bay.
She's a super little mare, isn't she? That's a second Group 1 there for Divine Madonna. She won the Emirates back in the spring, and she's come out here and she's won the Queen of the Turf Stakes, beating...
He's had, of course, a winner in Adelaide, a Group 3, winner in Melbourne, a Group 1 now here, a double for the day. It's not your birthday, is it, Mark? I don't know what day it is now. It's Group Day, I don't know. It's great. Yeah, I don't know what to say. What a great mare she... So that's pretty good. And that's probably not a problem you're going to have here, but Glenn Boss rides a Ryder Son in the Doncaster. What are you doing for a rider?
Oh, I'll just turn my phone off for a day or so. I think there'll be someone available.
I'm sure you're right. Just the best way.
She was pretty well a good thing if she got the right brakes and they come. She's just got an amazing turn of foot, and she'd be a very worthy Doncaster ride.
Unfortunately, you won't be riding there.
21.16 fast of the day, must have been the absolutely awesome. Last 400 in 21.16 fast of the day, must have been the last 200 in about 6, I think. Divine Madonna, Cheeky Choice, Beauty Watch, Boss fined and suspended there, but you watched it again. What were your instructions to Glenn Boss, Mark?
Well, I try to tell these jockeys the colder that you ride her, the better she gets home, and she's phenomenal at the sectionals that she can roll out. Once he got her into the Open, you know, he was struggling a bit there, he snookered. But once he got her in the Open and she really took off, I mean, she just exploded.
When did you discover a rider like that way, as cold as you like to have her ridden?
Well, I sort of wanted to ride her like that. She used to get home good and that, but, you know, first start, last preparation, Scott Leckie rode her like that in Adelaide, and she just took...
She was explosive. She is explosive when, you know, we've seen her do this in the past, and... couple of runs back now. She's getting better this way of going. She's always a bit skew if Boss comes out here and collects up Anamato there. Anamato really takes no part after this and will save for another day, but now look, she was just a dominant win there. Cheeky Choice second up, battled on, she's going. Beauty Choice was fantastic first up. Good ride by Jamie Innes.
The AJC Derby, there it is. This is the sports bet market. Miss Finland 250, he's no pie-eater. Fumachin Harada's son, and he now heads the market. Harada, 380, Divine Madonna, 2 winners yesterday for Glenn Boss. He can't ride them both. He rides Harada's son, and Mark Kavanagh confirming Dwayne Dunn goes to Divine Madonna at Miss Finland Tuesday. Joy, well, I don't know, 280 favourite, ridden perhaps.
You'll get better on the day.
Yeah, you will.
Beat the fortune. If it rains, just...
Got together with a pair of Japanese and Admire Moon. Lava Man, they're worried about him going from California. Pompey Ruler, I was talking to Mick Price, and he was saying that that horse hadn't been as far as Geelong. Well, that's only 45 miles or about 60 or 70 k's.
Fine Kudos anticipated the start and bounced 3/4 of a length in front. Bad Girl runs from out wide, immediately drop back to the tail of the field as Iridescence and Lava Man go forward. And when they settle at the end of 200 metres, Iridescence shows the way. Lava Man is second, Sahili third, followed by Mystical pushing up in the centre. Pompey Ruler is with that leading group and trapped out a little wide. Length over English Channel being ridden along. Dawa Major is travelling out 4 deep as they come to the bend. Sahili is on the fence just behind the speeders who are about to flatten for the run of the judge. Capil is hooked to the outside as they're well in the straight. 500 metres left to go. Iridescence, the leader, has showed the way into the straight. Daiwa Major moves up on the outside. Saheli gets a split between them. Deeper in the track, and Maya Moon joining in, and Kapil, and now Lingari letting down, and Maya Moon went up to Saheli. Daiwa Major under the whip, 200 metres left to go. Lingari and Kapil are battling away, but it's Maya Moon in front, and Maya Moon is 2 lengths clear. Lingari's run to second, is trying hard, but Maya Moon will give Japan a World Cup night winner, and Maya Moon beat Lingari. Daiwa Major ran third, Saheli was fourth, and then Kapil, Flashy Wings, and Former Decree, Pompey Ruler, English Channel, best known.
Second in the Hong Kong Cup to Pride beat Lingari, who'd come through the International Carnival, form around Benedetti. Daiwa Major, Japan 1 and 3. Pompey Ruler, Wayne, just 3 wide and tugging a bit early.
You just can't over race like he did there, you know, and sit 3 deep. Taki just sat back and followed. He actually rode the race for, you know, the Taki.
Favouritism there, at least over Pop Rock. Red Rock's just half a point away.
Gates are back, racing. Pop Rock a little slow to go, and Yum Zane dropped back shortly after the start. Vengeance of Rain for Hong Kong, and Oracle West and Best Alibi all going forward. Guajano began well, Sir Percy's been there from almost the word go. Guajano has breathed down his neck from the word go. Host is a half length away third. Sir Percy's on the move now. He's gone to fourth as they come to the bend with 600 metres left to run. Best Alibi flattens in front of Guajano. Sir Percy, the Derby winner, looming up deep on the track. Host under pressure. Laverock behind them. Vengeance of Rain going through in the middle, followed deeper out by Pop Rock, and Obrigado coming right down the outside. Best Alibi claimed by Guajano. Vengeance of Rain goes after Guajano. Sir Percy one paced. Oracle West looking for the split of the 200. Vengeance of Rain in front of Guajano. Sir Percy, Oracle West, Yum Zane getting up on the rail, but it's Vengeance of Rain clear, short of 50 metres left to go, and it's Hong Kong Shima Classic. Vengeance of Rain has beaten Oracle West. Photo third, Yum Zane or Sir Percy, then Susi Shan.
A winner at the international meeting here, and the son of Zabil, Anthony Del Pet's riding for David Ferraris there. Vengeance of Rain beating Oracle West. Big night for Mike de Kock, and he just proved superior.
Yeah, now he was subscribed, wasn't he?
He was subscribed. Lloyd Williams?
Yeah, and it just goes to show, doesn't it? Lloyd buys so many of those sorts of horses,
buys a bill,
and eventually moves the ones on that, you know.
He's a businessman in the racing game,
absolutely,
and he's a seller. There's a lot of people that don't sell horses. It's just sale at the right price. We saw that with Incumbent. Last week with Tim Hughes and his partners buying in. And subscribe. Look, they're to be sold if you get the right price.
Well, what about that?
Huge result for Hong Kong. Huge result. This horse trained by David Ferraris, and a great ride by Anthony Del Peche, and raised to subscribe, and was sold by Lloyd Williams. Is that right, Andrew?
Right. It was Lloyd. Yeah.
That's the Group 2 Sydney Morning Herald Chairman's Handicap, over 2,600 metres, with a number of these runners heading on towards the Sydney Cup. Let's have a...
Now triple figures in Sydney. Arazu, $12.80 is spot on. Southern, 31 is with the bookies. Number 9, Arazu, $10.80. Now it's been well backed, and it's 2 points shorter than that.
On the outside stall, Winkara was slowly out, and New Kid in Town was very sluggish out of the stalls. He's gone back here from Zilsey, which is flat. No Wine, No Song, and Arazu are starting to move up on the outside. It's like a bell went off, and they've all come out swinging, and now No Wine, No Song has gone up on the outside and hit the lead from Arazu and the Chieftain. Magic Instinct is tracking up behind them, and then came Prince Arthur, and further back in behind him Magic Instinct is coming off the rail now to go after No Wine, No Song, who's kicked away. It's No Wine, No Song, 2 or 3 lengths in front. Prince Arthur is grinding away after it, and then came Magic Instinct and Southern Carriage. No Wine, No Song's in front. Prince Arthur 2 lengths away, trying to close that gap, and then Magic Instinct. No Wine, No Song is well out in front at big odds. Prince Arthur on the outside, still a length away. No Wine, No Song's running on empty, but he's going to hang on by the looks of it. Prince Arthur dives. No Wine, No Song, I think, fell in to score from Prince Arthur. Magic Instinct third. Forest Knight was next from Southern Courage, and then we've got Vanquished to rate
them, chase him, and they couldn't. No Wine, No Song, 31.60 and 6.60 for Prince Arthur.
No Wine, No Song, obviously, I think needs it wet next Saturday to configure in the Sydney Cup. Prince Arthur will figure no matter what.
The favourite of the Sydney Cup, Blue Tigeroo.
Oh, well, he's a BMW winner, Andrew. He's in the Sydney Cup with 53. A bit of rain around, he'll be giggling.
It should be 4 lengths superior to this.
Yeah, it should be, but
that form.
You know, he's got a get to the...
To Carnival, this is the Sydney City Lexus TJ Smith Stakes for the sprinters at weight for age Group 1 over 1,200 metres. Let's run through the totes, Richie. 5 points for Mustard. He's getting some good late support. Firming in a point. Number 6, Bentley Biscuit, just getting out a half point. Is Primus getting out a full point now. Firming in a point. Black Ink getting good support. And as I said, Barrage to Fortune down the bottom is firming in about 4.
Ready to jump, and they're off and racing now. Spark of Life was away very quickly, and so too was Virage de Fortune. They pair off in the lead. They've kicked away from in third spot there. Primus running through with Dance Hero, Bentley Biscuit and Mustard. De Fortune, and they lead by about 2 lengths on Dance Hero, tracking up behind them third. Primus is fourth. Then came Mustard and Bentley Biscuit, followed by Black Ink. Red Egg looks to be struggling in the ground. He's second last and off the bit, and Unju is last of all, 10 off the lead. It's Spark of Life on the inside and Virage de Fortune. They've cut-throated in front from the time they hit the ground. 2 lengths on Dance Hero and Primus, and then Mustard and Bentley Biscuit. And further back was Black Ink around the turn, and Spark of Life kicked away from Virage de Fortune. 2 or 3 lengths to Dance Hero. Bentley Biscuit has taken to the centre of the track and is starting to run on strongly, and so too is Primus. Spark of Life in front. Has he got anything left in the tank? Bentley Biscuit is flying down the centre. Bentley Biscuit moved up at the 100 and took the lead. He's kicked away in the TJ Smith for Gay, and Bentley Biscuit is racing away with it. Black Ink flies home to get second, Virage de Fortune third, and then came Dance Hero, followed by Spark of Life. Well, he got driven mad in front from Mustard and Primus, and then Red Erg, and further back Virage de Fortune with them, and last of all was Unju.
Gay Waterhouse wins the race, named in her father's honour, the TJ Smith Stakes with Bentley Biscuit. A good ride there, Nash Rawiller.
Disappointing, there might be something wrong. It's finished last, Red Oog second last. Bentley Biscuit, Nash Rawiller for Gay Waterhouse, $5.30, $2. 8 Black Ink, $2.60. 10 Virage de Fortune at $3.80.
Biscuit's a winner, 10 out of 16. Now he's a Group 1 winner. Well done to Nash Rawiller and well done to Gay Waterhouse there with Bentley Biscuit. The horse they couldn't sell. Black Ink good from back. Virage de Fortune good from on pace. Good to see her back showing some sign of form. But that was a bit like Darren in the Derby, Rich. Never going to get beaten.
Never was, and I love the way he never panicked. There was probably 5, 6 in front coming around the turn. He never panicked, Nash. He knew that they've gone hard. He said, I'm on a horse that's travelling. He's just getting around the heels there of Primus. Jeez, was a good ride. He was heavily backed. He was $6 into $4.60. Gay Waterhouse couldn't sell him. She rang one of her friends and owners, George Moritoff, and he said, look, I'll buy half of the horse. I'm not buying the whole thing, only if you stay in the other half and put your money up. Gay did, and he's won over $930,000. Hats off, super horse. The runner-up, Black Ink, geez, it's a good horse. He just keeps backing up. What about Virage de Fortune? Did she show that she's...
The bit, we know he's got a tremendous will to win. I remember after this horse won 7 straight, Richard said, well, that's about his level, that's as far as he'll go. You did so?
No. See, you're wrong again. You love to sort of make things up. I think he's an extremely good horse, because any horse that has the record that he has cannot be anything but a good horse, and I think they do manage a few issues with his soundness, and I think the soft track he'd have loved it, even though...
What would you know about his soundness?
Well, I hear.
Yeah,
all right. Even if you don't.
Racecourse whispers.
I hear things that, you know, they manage issues. Lots of good horses they manage issues with. We managed issues on a million good horses, but I'm telling you, the soft track probably, he loved it. He seemed to love it.
I don't think he handles it.
But I think he appreciated it.
Okay.
You know, and I want to back him on a wet track again. What do you want to can him on one? Have a look. That's a heavy track, Ronnie. He's gone past them like they're nailed to the running rail.
Yeah, he would have been.
Yeah, he doesn't handle it. So all those good sprinters behind him, they're just hopeless in it, are they?
No, I'm just saying. Black Ink handles going, and the
Derby Day. This is the Inglis Sires Produce Stakes, over 1,400 metres for the 2-year-olds, and they look fantastic in the yard here. In a
favourite, $4.30. It's a third of a point shorter. It's only 40 cents behind Murder Jill. Shishanka.
Murder Jill, he is currently on the tote, $4, and again, that's pretty close to the mark. He's drifted out almost a point. Also 40, you can add about 10 points to that on course. Number 9 at Camarilla, very well back, look magnificent, $3.80 on the tote, about 30 cents shorter than that on course, and she's just firmed in.
Racing, and Maurice jumped out well. Hurricane Princess going forward shortly after the start. Looks like Zazu up there on the inside with Hassan Lightning, and then came marching. Murder Jill starting to make ground, and then came Shashenka. Solo Fly was further back in the field from Phoebe Camarilla, and Pistol Davidas Pistols. At the 700 metres, Hurricane Princess just in front. Now Murder Jill is starting to work through in the centre, and he's going forward to attack for the lead. Marching's on the outside, followed by Shashenka, and then came Maurice. In the centre there is Zazu starting to improve, and further back was Phoebe, followed by Solo Flyer, Hassan and Lightning, and then Pistols and Camarilla's back last of all and very wide as they turn, and it's Hurricane Prince being joined by Murdergill, who puts its head in front. Shashenka, and here's Maurice joining in on the outside. Murdergill, Shashenka and Maurice settling down to fight it out, and Camarilla from the back of the field is starting to launch her run. She's coming very strongly, Camarilla. It's Shashenka and Maurice and Camarilla on the outside. Camarilla takes the lead. Well, haven't these colours been lucky for Woodland Stud? They take out the slipper and also the size with Camarilla. Wins it from Maurice, and Shashenka got third. And then Murdergill, followed by Solo Flyer. And then came Pistols, and further back was Hassan Lightning Zazoo marching, and Phoebe was back near the top as well. She's coming back to scale there with her ears pricked, getting through the rain. And as we said, from Maurice, and Shashenka got third. And then Murdergill.
The slipper winner last week, Forensic, she cost 900,000. Camarilla by Lucid Quality out of a Group 1 winner. Woodlands last year spent something like $13 million at the sales. They spent big, but they're starting to get the returns already, winning the size coming off the Golden Slipper last week. Maurice good again, Shashenka okay, but Darren, she looked totally dominant there once she let down.
Yeah, no, she was very hot and cold at vital stages of the race, and just getting her confidence and going around the corners to the right-handed. I always had the leaders covered. No, serious, like she was wasn't that comfortable in the ground, but she's a real racehorse and very, very strong over the concluding stages.
Now, they had 3 in the race there, hence you're riding with the black, white, star-wide cap. Did you have the choice this week?
Hawksy, he always chooses, so I just ride what he gives me. But
and you're on the right horse. She's a magnificent type one, isn't she?
She is. I'll tell you what, it's going to be a long time till you see a horse win the Triple Crown now with the shortened carnival.
Yeah, she's pretty special. She's a really, big, strong filly, and every run that she's had, she's put 100% in. She's a real racehorse. Loves to hit the line. She wasn't that comfortable in the ground yesterday, but she's just a racehorse, and the ones that really dig in deep.
See size with Camarilla. The favourite, it's the Wonder Filly, Miss Finland, but she's easing. Been well backed has been number 14, the other filly, Tuesday Joy. He's no pie to Miss Finland. It's your favourite, $3.30 on the tote. That is spot on the mark. She's that price exactly on track. $43 is spot on. Fiumicino, $5.50, a half point better. Pacino, Miss Finland, $3.10. It's a quarter of a point longer, but she's firm 40 cents. And the bottom one, Tuesday Joy. She opened up a point better than each way odds. She firmed that point. She got back out. $7.30 the tote is a point and a half of value. The market movers for the Wonder Filly, or as Craig Williams puts it, Caroline, Miss World, Miss Finland.
Exactly. At 2,400 metres, they're ready to jump. Racing in the Derby, and Metron Jeu missed the start, and Red Lord came out slowly as well. Dan Ever was one of the best into stride with Gorky Park. Metron Jeu starting to improve, and Redute's Dancer from the outside stall is storming across the face of the field. It's Redute's Dancer, Dan Ever and Metron Jeu from Phil Machino. Gorky Park got into trouble there. He's no Pida is settling back in about 6th or 7th spot on the rail. Miss Finland to follow it. Long way back, and Tuesday Joy edging past it. 8.50 to go in the Derby. Dan Ever on top by a neck on Gorky Park, who's going up to put some pressure on the leader. Redute's Dancer is third from Metron Jeu, 2 lengths to Fee and Ketto. He's no paid, and next being passed by Red Lord, surging through in the centre. Miss Finland tracking it. Pacino's dropping out of it. Then came Phil Machino out wide, followed by Sir James, who got into trouble. Tuesday Joy will have to come very wide, and Ruling Powers dropped out to a conspicuous last as they turn in the Derby. And Gorky Park has taken over and kicked away from Red Lord. Redute's Dancer was next, followed by He's No Paid. Phil Machino is now starting to launch his run, and Tuesday Joy. Miss Finland would need to get moving from there. It's Gorky Park, and Ambitious General has come through in the centre for Oliver and taken the lead. Bleedman on the outside on Phil Machino. It's Bleedman and Oliver in the Derby. Phil Machino has taken the lead, and Phil Machino is surging away. The son of Zabeel is too good, and he wins the Derby. Ambitious General was second. Tuesday Joy has got third, and then He's No Paid, followed by Gorky Park and Miss Finland, and then Red Lord, followed by Redute's Dancer. A long way back behind them, Sir James Fianchetto, Ruling Power, Pacino, and last in was Metra on Jur.
Fiumicino, the 2007 AJC Australian Derby winner, and a pat there from Darren Beedman. A good ride by Darren Beedman, combining it.
John picked this horse out at the yearling sale, and he said right from the time they bought him, this is the Derby horse.
not only the Derby horse, but he showed us what he's done today, that he's a very special horse. This is really his first preparation. To jump from a Kembla maiden 3 starts ago. He ran third in a Group 1 race his last start, and to win that and win it so well. Outstanding horse.
Very special.
But the way he tracked up come the corner.
Peter Snowden said 3 starts ago he was at Kembla. You know he'd handle the going. He handled it to it nicely today. He's a good horse in the making, Vermicino. Ambitious General, still a promising horse. It was his first 27.60.
He's really climbed the mountain. He started off at the bottom this prep, won his maiden, and Hawksy's just placed into perfection, just getting the right mileage into his legs and shipped him down to Kembla to win over a mile on a heavy track or softish type track, and you know, he's just placed his thoughts to perfection for a horse.
That horse, Fumicino, won a maiden at Kembla Grange on April 6. He's a Derby winner, a Group 1 winner. He's by Zabeel out of Latte. It's a family of Horlicks.
Serious first preparation. Yeah, had a run last time in just at Warwick Farm in a short race, and Hawksy tipped him out, and he's just, as every race he's put him in. You know, he's just kept building the level up, and you know, taking down to Kembla to run him over the mile, and the track was a bit soft. It was just a really good conditioner for him, and I think that was a vital part of his training program.
You had to wait and wait, but you could have waited even longer, couldn't you?
Could have done. I seen Ollie slipping up there on the inside, and you know, he'd
Darren just
done. Is quite remarkable.
His 6th race start. He was the most lightly raced horse in the field.
Derby, and Fumicino, I'm sure, will be head of the markets now for the Caulfield and Melbourne Cups, whether he gets there this preparation.
No, I'm not sure whether Dad will tip him out. I'm sure there's a race at Caulfield in about October called the Caulfield Cup, and might have Phil Macino's name written all over it. And he's a close relative.
Either a champion wet tracker or a very, very exciting horse. I think he's an...
Or neither.
I think he's an exciting horse.
I reckon that I wouldn't write him off as a Cups horse. I think he's definitely of that ilk, but he's got to lift significantly to be a Cups class horse next season. I mean, how you read anything into this form? It's run on a heavy track. Here's a horse that's just not long come out of maiden company, able to beat them. I think we're all in agreement that our bunch of colts this year is not a stellar bunch. So they're all the negatives, but the positives are he's a horse on the rise. So, you know, I think it's very difficult. I think he's got to improve a lot.
But he might be just something
He's
special.
the only one in the field with the potential to do that.
There's nothing wrong with that ambitious General. I can't wait for him for the spring. Tuesday Joy ran well, and the good filly Miss Finland, well, she got into a bit of a traffic jam there. And
in the betting, so good money here for Miss Pageantry.
There is good money for Miss Pageantry. The best money's been for Perfect Drop. Let's have a look at the totes. Upper echelon, $3.90, 3/4 of a point longer on track. This lady, $32 is around the mark. Judged, $6.90.
Vital lead up to the Oaks. They're often racing. Youth due a little bit slowly out of the stalls, and Fleur Royale began well. Rearing, showing speed. Judge was away nicely, and so too Miss Pageantry. Indelible going up park behind them, followed by Ringer's Lady as they all start to shift towards the outside. Then came Perfect Drop, starting to make a move now. Going with it is Fleur Royale, and Upper Echelon trying to weave its way through the field. Yanina was next from Youth 2, Miss Pageantry, Bopalula, My Lady's Chamber struggling in the ground, dropping out of it. They fan right across the track, and Rena's Lady has taken over and kicked nicely clear. She's a winner on heavy ground, and she's kicked nicely clear now from Perfect Drop and Upper Echelon. They're giving chase to Rena's Lady. Rena's Lady in front, 200 to go. Upper Echelon and Perfect Drop are coming on the outside, and further back Bopalula. Rena's Lady in front, leads by a length and a half. Perfect Drop making no impression, and Rena's Lady reveling in the ground. Goes on to win it from Perfect Drop and Upper Echelon, and then came Bopalula. Indelible next from Miss Pageantry, Yanina, Fleur Royale and My Lady.
Michael Rodden, it is great, as we said before, to see him up here at that point winning 2 for the day. Now he's won 3 for the day, but he's a great jockey and a great guy as well.
From Miss Pageantry.
Jones has been whacked away nicely. Upper Echelon, Buller back up, even Darren Bevan doesn't know yet in the Oaks. But they're about the mark, but I suppose Tuesday Joy's the measuring stick, Rich.
Yeah, look, I just kept looking at Tuesday Joy ran third to Fumicino and Ambitious General. If she takes no harm from the day.
She'd had 3 runs back from a spell and done absolutely zilch, but as Gary said, she did run a nice 5th to Miss Finland in the VRC Oaks. She was beaten less than 4 lengths, and she looked very strong on the line to me here.
Heavy tracker.
Yeah.
This one you can bank on being a career on wet tracks ahead of her.
She's been struggling on...
We're on Channel 522. As you will, the Doncaster Handicap tomorrow. Let's have a look at the latest betting from TAB Sports Bet for the Donny. Harada Sun $4, Divine Madonna Apache Cat at $5.50, Mentality $9, and then we're out to
for the Bacardi Breezers, South Pacific Classic. This is at Group 3 level, over 1,400 metres for the 3-year-olds. Reigning to win, reappearing after a long time out here, and he's the favourite here for John O'Shea.
That's very skinny.
20 cents to Dan Lee. Some late speaking there for number 2, Dan Lee. So 2.10, as I said, reigning.
Offen racing, and Wester Caro broke brilliantly, takes the early lead, runs a length clear of Garona, who's starting to improve now. Escuder going forward with Slow Waltz and also Dan Lee. So Escuder's gone to the lead, and it's in front in 3rd spot, and Slow Waltz is easing out of that leading pack to go back to 4th. And then Something Anything followed by Reigning to Win and Dan Lee racing with them. Only about 4 lengths first to Lund. Garona back on the rail from Slow Waltz. Reigning to Win just starting to edge around the outside, 3 wide now from Something Anything and Dan Lee in the centre. They turn for home, and Escuder is the leader from Wester Caro, and then Garona followed by Something Anything. Boss has still got a good hold on Reigning to Win, hasn't called on it yet, and Dan Lee's about a length behind it. Wester Caro and Escuder now being joined by Dan Lee and Reigning to Win coming down the outside on Something Anything, but Dan Lee has sprinted to the front right down the outside from Reigning to Win, and it's Dan Lee getting the break over a length in front, and he'll sprint away for Kathy O'Hara. Beats Reigning to Win, Something Anything 3rd, Wester Caro 4th, and then a couple of lengths to Slow Waltz, Escuder, and Garona's dropped out to be last of all.
He was ridden back today, Dan Lee by Kathy O'Hara, and he came down the outside to win here, the Group 3 South Pacific Classic. Reigning to Win, a while to get going. In the meantime, Dan Lee has the momentum to come past him down the outside. Wester Caro sticking on well on the inside. Looked as if he was going to pinch the race at that point, but Dan Lee just too strong over the top. Reigning to Win coming through as well, and Something Anything hanging on there for 3rd placing, but Dan Lee just run down last start in the Ajax by a high C, coming from the back to back.
Here's Bruce.
Yeah, thank you. Last year in Queensland, Caroline.
Exactly right. Thanks very much for that, Bruce. Using initiative.
Doncaster Handicap worth $2.25 million. Allow me to...
Last year we saw Racing to win for Glenn Boss and John O'Shea, and before that horses such as Private Steer, Sunline superimposed twice, and of course number 1 Apache Cat. We'll have a look at the runners in a second. First of all, we'll run through these totes at the moment. Harada Sun is the favourite, and he is getting good support here, Richie.
Certainly is, Caroline. Let's have a look at these totes. 690 Apache Cat, that's comparable. Activation 67, you can double that. Aquadamore 620, 2 points longer. Mentality $8.40, a half point longer on track. Dan's double that with the bookmakers. Harada Sun's been very heavily back, $4.80. They bet just better. It's now the other side. It's 30 cents shorter on track. Mr. Ubiquitous at $26. It's 5 points shorter on track. And what a great race the Doncaster is going to be. Big icon, a lot of action in the ring. The market movers, number 11 Harada Sun. They've come for this in droves. It's heavily backed on track. It's a dominant favourite. It's 4 points in front of any other runner, which are Divine Madonna and Aquadamore equal on the second line with Apache Cat. Let's go upstairs for the Emirates Doncaster.
Racing in the Doncaster, Aquadamore missed the start by a length, and Dan Zippo was the best into stride with Apache Cat and Mentality. Harada Sun is going forward on the inside with Beauty Watch and Activation and Animato. Casino Prince settling behind them as about 5 horses vie for the lead. And then Flaming and Owen High C, 2 lengths to Mr. Ubiquitous, and then came Divine Madonna. She's well back in the field with Swick and Aquadamore, and Shinziger's last of all. About 6.50 to go in the Doncaster. Apache Cat for Oliver leads by a neck. On the outside for Beedman is Mentality. And then came Dan Zippo and Harada Sun right behind them, followed by Flaming and Beauty Watch. Activation's already under the stick. And then came Animato. Divine Madonna going up near the inside from the Free Stater. But Apache Cat kicked away as they turned for home, 400 to go. Led by 2 lengths on Mentality out in the centre of the track. Harada Sun is trying to rally on the inside. He's coming after Apache Cat now, and Divine Madonna's going with them. Harada Sun went through to hit the lead now from Apache Cat. Divine Madonna's the danger on the inside. Wider out is Aquadamore. Harada Sun's drifting off the track from Mentality. Harada Sun, the 3-year-olds in front, and Harada Sun wins the Doncaster. Beat Mentality and Divine Madonna. And then came Aquadamore and Flaming, and further back was Apache Cat. And then we've got in behind them Mr. Ubiquitous, followed by Shinzig, and then Animato, Casino Prince and Dan Zippo, and then the Free Stater and Swick and Beauty Watch and High C, and Activation has run tailed off.
Glenboss back-to-back Doncasters there with Harada Sun, the autumn champion over the Randwick Mile. He held off Mentality. It was a great challenge by Mentality, the other 3-year-old there. But
but I can hear the bookmakers crying from here. He was heavily backed to firm a full point into a dominant favourite in the Group 1 Emirates Doncaster is a huge go. The punters cheer. Glenboss, he loves...
Silenced a few critics rather in the rider, and I suppose he's really shut him right up today, hasn't he?
You've had so many issues.
Secrecies are very similar to Elstrom, but I think just with racing he'll become more professionally. You know, his attitude will change.
That's the value, but I mean, as a Cox Plate, is spring goal?
I think ultimately next spring the Cox Plate would be an ideal race for him to set the horse for.
Great to work with such a great horse, Tony.
He's a
horse, Tony.
He's a super horse, this bloke.
Well done, congratulations.
Thanks, Bruce.
And it was just brilliant to see.
Yep, the bookmakers last year, they were wiped out with Racing to Win winning the Doncaster. They're wiped out again. $4.40, $2.10, $2.80 Mentality, Divine Madonna $3, $80. Officially 4 was number 3, Aquadamore. Officially 5th, number 1, Apache Cat. And officially...
You might have witnessed something pretty, like the start of something very special here. You know, he's such a immature horse with just so much unbelievable raw ability up. It gives you just sort of a tingle up your spine sort of feeling, but you feel like you're riding a kid. He's just got no idea what he's doing, but you point him in the direction, he says, let's go, you know, and he's got a huge motor. Tony's going to, and the owners, they're going to have a lot of fun with this horse. He could be something special.
When you try
horse is just...
After a shame, wasn't it?
Oh, terrific. You know, like Aqua Dumor. I mean, I know she played up again, but I mean, gee, she can run some races, can't she? If she ever got her head right, how good would she be?
She won't get that right, she's going...
Mentality went super. Divine Madonna, the wet track, but this bloke, he was gallant yesterday, but he's a superstar in the making.
I just wonder if the race had...
Harada Sun, Mentality, Divine Madonna running.
Yeah, we were singing his praises earlier, the winner, but take nothing away from Mentality here. He did a bit of work. He was still strong and coming again on the line here. And I think the wet track put paid to Divine Madonna. It just stops her lethal sprint. She did well, though.
You reverse the barriers, though, with those 2 3-year-olds there, Mentality and Harada Sun. You reverse the gates, I think you reverse the result. Because,
maybe.
Well, he sort of rolled out a little bit, Harada Sun, which is his habit, and though there was no contact made, it just seemed to maybe just balk Mentality. I'm not saying there should have been any protest result there, but it just seemed to balk him a little bit about here, and you know he just lost his momentum for a stride, and then he picked it up again. And I
think
thought
he was trying to steer into him there,
probably to try and get some contact.
Get some grounds,
but you know, he's a star in the making too, Mentality, and you know, he was unlucky not to win. Good luck to the winner. He's a very good horse, but it was unlucky, Mentality.
Thanks very much for that, Shane. The feature race of the day is coming up. It is the JP Morgan Oaks, AJC Oaks, the Australian Oaks here. The favourite is number 1, Tuesday Joy. This race has been won by some wonderful fillies in the past. Of Gold, the mother of Harada Stakes.
Up with Bank to Fortune. Last of the runners loading now for the JP Morgan Australian Oaks. In the Oaks, and Just Dancing hopped out okay. Rena's Lady was the best into stride, and she'll go forward and lead. The Victorian Blessed is going up on its inside to match strides with it now. Just Dancing will lob into the box seat, and on the outside is Perfect Drop. Between that pair is Bopalula, and then came Viva Caro, followed 3 or 4 lengths to Tuesday Joy, and Beedman on Back to Fortune is lobbed straight onto Tuesday Joy's back. At last, she has tugged most of the way. Back to Fortune going up to its quarters now, and about 2.5 lengths to Tuesday Joy. So all those jockeys at the back, they'd be sizing each other up to see who goes first, I'd say. And Rena's Lady just snuck away, coming up towards the 650 by about 2 lengths on Perfect Drop. And then came Bopalula on the outside of Blessed and Viva Caro. Just Dancing is locked away at the moment. Back to Fortune is next on the outside, and Tuesday Joy will have the last crack at them as they turn for home now on the Oaks. Oaks. As they run for the money now, 400 metres to go, and Rena's Lady slipped away. I tell you what, these backmarkers will want to get moving, because Rena's Lady has dashed about 3 lengths in front of Perfect Drop. These ones at the back have missed the boat, I'd say, and Rena's Lady might be going to bring off an upset here. 2 or 3 lengths on Perfect Drop from Just Dancing, Bank the Fortune and Tuesday Joy. But Rena's Lady is hanging on from Perfect Drop. She's getting it a little bit weary, close to home. But Rena's Lady wins the Oaks all the way from Perfect Drop. Tuesday Joy got third, and then Just Dancing and Bank the Fortune. They all missed the boat. And then Bopalula, Viva, Caro and Bless was...
Even 2 weeks in a row within just about 4 days here. Rena's Lady winning the Adrian Knox, and 2:33.72 the time, 36.69 the last 600. And
beaten boys, but well done to Gary Portelli, the daughter of Arena. Rena's Lady beating Perfect Drop on pace. Tuesday Joy got into it late.
One of the highlights of the week, I thought.
A word about Arena too. He's been a revelation as a sire.
There's been a bit of criticism about
during the week. Firstly, good on you, Gary. First Group 1 winner.
We did say that on a wet track it would be hard to beat in the Oaks, didn't we?
And made her own luck.
Yep.
A couple of our jockeys would like this erased from the library. They know who they are. Everyone in Australia knows who they are.
Come on. Well, then if they do, you can mention them.
Well, they would have a look at Darren and Danny. Come on. They slowed up down the back. They should have made a bit of ground up. They're staring at each other, but that's done now. It's done now. It's all forgotten.
Yep.
The third. Let's have another quick look at the totes, Richie.
A Country Girl, $21.30. Add 5 points. We'll go back that page. If with Miles, but I'm serious, you can double that. More money coming for Hot Danish now. Heavily back. 280 is spot on. The next one's
More Than Lucky hesitated, missed the start and went back to last. Hot Danish was the best into stride, joined shortly afterwards by Cheeky Choice. So those 2 3-year-olds lead out early. Storm Alerta's right up. Choice in front leads by a half a length on Hot Danish, and they lead by a length and a half on Shirl Pegasus. Storm Alert's right on the leaders back, and Grey Stream on the outside from More Than Lucky and My Lady's Chamber. Further back behind them, Cosy Bay, A Country Girl, Amory Lane straining to push through in the centre, and then But I'm Serious and Dan Wassery's last and wide on the turn. Cheeky Choice's rider staying away from the inside. Hot Danish and More Than Lucky went up, and they made a line of 3. Quickly Hot Danish on the outside has taken over from Cheeky Choice and More Than Lucky, and then Shirl Pegasus and Cosy Bay, but down to the 200, and the heavily backed Hot Danish has raced away. She's 2 lengths in front of Cosy Bay. Then More Than Lucky and Cheeky Choice as she continues on a winning way. Hot Danish, she is a star in the making, and she'll run away and score it from Cosy Bay. More Than Lucky third from Cheeky Choice, and then Shirl Pegasus. My Lady's Chamber.
6 starts now for 5 wins. Hot Danish, she is a real up-and-coming star. Number 9,000 at the Scone yearling sale. She was held by Holbrook at Thoroughbreds. There are the interim dividends there after the third. Number $80.50, $5.40.
Star in the making, 5 out of 6 for Hot Danish. A $30,000 yearling from Scone. Well, we'll learn more about it with Les Bridge shortly. Just to improve.
Les Bridge has had a huge opinion of her for a long time, Bruce. Look, Cheeky Choice was going. I think she's best let stride like she did in the Flight Stakes. She gets them off the bit, just keeps on going. She doesn't dash. Hot Danish, she's been most dominant, and she's showing versatility. She's been sitting up on the speed her last 2, the Keith Nolan Classic, and again yesterday in the Emancipation. Cosy Bay, I know the track played horse on the inside that day, but let's not forget Cosy Bay did run third behind Lyrical Bid in that seed change in the Group 1 Maya Classic. So no slouch, Cosy Bay. I know the track favoured him that day, but this horse is very, very...
she's sensational. This is the other one I want to take into the spring. Guillotine and Hot Danish. Remember these 2 names come Flemington. Look, to sprint from the death seat like she has at her past 2 starts is the sign of a very, very good filly. Get her in a fast run race, give her some cover, and she'll be even more explosive. Les is all...
We certainly do, Caroline. Let's have a look at these totes for you. Number 1, Empire's Choice, backing up from last Saturday out of the Carbine Club, $9.30. That's spot on the mark. Your favourites just starting to trim up here on track. Tip on Woody. And let me tell you, the $2.
$2.20 there, that's pretty close to the mark of what you're getting on track.
And Empire's Choice was hunted out of the stalls. Tip Woody and Turban going forward. Bundle of Joy and Deloraine are handy also. Case now working towards the 7. Just Mambo by 3/4 on the favourite. And that is Tip Woody. Carnegie House was next, followed by Bundle of Joy. Turban is 5th, followed by Deloraine. Empire's Choice, Sea Battle. Upper echelon awkwardly placed near the inside, coming towards the turn. And Barlagani starting to edge up wide. Now he tries to go up in the centre and upper echelon as they start the sprint now, where Just Mambo led by over a length on Tip Woody. Carnegie House is going back to the rail, and they've sprinted away from Turban. Further back behind them, upper echelon coming through on the centre. Just Mambo's in front from Tip Woody, and Carnegie House, they're fighting it out at the moment from upper echelon running on. It's Carnegie House going through on the inside to take the lead. Carnegie House is in front from Just Mambo, Tip Pung Woody, and Carnegie House in a boil-over wins it from Empire's Choice running on to get second and Deloraine third. And then we've got in behind them, we've got Just Mambo and Tip Pung Woody, not the same horse.
310, 260 Empire's Choice, 880 Deloraine. Cornella
The race but outstayed them. Carnegie House beating Empire's Choice and Deloraine. Where was Tip and Woody in upper echelon?
Empire's Choice is
not really an excuse.
No, the winner was too good, Carnegie House. I thought Deloraine went super. I think Empire's Choice is just starting to hit his straps, Empire's Choice. The colt by Reduce's Choice.
The horse that
I think the sting out of the ground suits Carnegie House. He had a bit of form on it. I like Empire's Choice. I think Bart might take him to Queensland, and he looks an ideal Queensland Derby horse because he's still holding good condition, and I feel he's still yet to peak, Empire's Choice. And I've got to...
Maurice, Caroline, you've got to give Maurice a bit of credit. It's the only horse that's running the Golden Slipper, the size produce, and now today backing up in the Champagne Stakes. And I think early on, I think he was regarded more of the 1,000-metre swim. He's not all that. Camarilla, your favourite. They didn't quite get to the $2. They got to the Unitab price, and it's now the Super Tab price. Being well back
as well. And Solo Flyer, the other one that Bill said looked fantastic in the yard, firming in 10 points here as well. We're about start time here, and Richie will have another look through. Maurice $5.50, and that's spot on what you're getting here. But Con's saying he's getting some support.
Spot on down the board. A little bit of specking for Guillotine, as Con said. A little bit of specking of big old Solo Flyer, AC Doocy, and My Sweet Cookie. But the big money, Camarilla, $1.80, shorter than that now on track.
Ready now, racing in the Champagne, Prima Nova only fairly out, going back to last as My Sweet Cookie, and Maurice will show out from the outside store, leads from Press the Button and Solo Flyer. Arlington's going forward as well, so almost a line of four at the end of 200 metres, and Sweet Cookie, they're inside the 800 metres, and Solo Flyer slowing them up in front. Its lead is only a neck now, Maurice getting a little bit closer, then Press the Button and Arlington, followed by Sashenka. It's on the inside of Camarilla, the favourite, spotting the leaders about 4 or 5 lengths as they approach the turn. And then AC Doocy and Guillotine. Royal Esprit starts a run from Prima Nova. Cigar Royale's under the whip, and last of all is My Sweet Cookie. Around the bend, and Solo Flyers left the fence. Press the Button coming up on the inside, and then came Maurice wider out Arlington. Camarilla was next, still giving the leaders a couple of lengths start, and Sashenka. It's Solo Flyer and Maurice, they lead from Press the Button. Maurice comes up on the outside and takes over from Solo Flyer. Camarilla still giving away a couple of lengths start, but Maurice, he's a 9-horse 3 weeks in a row, and Maurice is going to win the Champagne. Takes it out from Solo Flyer. Camarilla has just held on for third in front of Guillotine, and then Sashenka followed in behind them by Arlington, and further back was Press the Button.
Deserves that Group 1 success, number 1 Maurice. Nashua Willow Gay Waterhouse has been up from the...
Deserves.
I told them the day we bought him that we'd run him in the Triple Crown and we'd take it out, and he did exactly that today. It just shows you what an amazing colt this horse is. He's the most exciting horse I've trained since a horse called El Now Mob. He's got the most beautiful, kind temperament. He's got the great...
Well, how wrong we've been. He's contested all 3. He's shown how tough he is. And not that he's tough, he's won the third of them. The Mile, the Champagne Stakes.
There are the interim dividends. Maurice, $490.76.
Absolutely no luck. More on that shortly with Darren Beedman. But great to get on that horse, Nash. A for Gay and B for Jonathan Munns, has been a long time supporter of you.
Yeah, absolutely, Bruce.
Slipper. Then he ran Slipper, Size, Champagne. Unbelievable effort.
Richie ran in the first 2-year-old trial of the season in Melbourne. It's a 3-horse trial. He won it by 15 lengths, so he's been up for so long, and obviously Gay had something in the eye which caught her eye about this horse won, and he's the perfect team.
Camarilla, forget her. She got galloped on a couple of times in the run. You can see her with her ears back there. She wasn't enjoying the race at all. Give her another chance. And Guillotine, very nice horse. He didn't have a lot of luck yesterday. He ran home.
Camarilla had legitimate excuses. When the pace slowed there at the 1,000, she got galloped on very badly, and you could see that when she put her head up and wanted to pull her head off there, and she got onto this scramble on the turn here again. She just had a torrid run, and she's pulled up bruised and battered, so really a legitimate excuse for her. Look, this is one I did get wrong, this Maurice. After looking at him in Melbourne, I thought he was 1,000.
3 times already.
If there's one horse I want to take home leading into the spring out of that race, is a horse called Guillotine. He's got VRC Derby written all over him. He's a half-brother to Efficient. He ran into a traffic jam at the top of the straight. He's a bit of a one-pace grinder, and it was the run of the carnival.
Okay.
For the second of the Group 1 races here today, this is the Big Pond Queen Elizabeth Stakes. A weight for age for Group 1 gallopers here, over 2,000.
Or 260, a half point longer on track. Railing, 760, 5 points longer. 10, 5 points shorter on track. Your favourite Harada Sun, $2.80, a half point shorter than that. And look, these two horses dominate the market, Harada Sun and Desert War. Just one roll of the die longer on track. Railing, $7.40. It's 2 points longer, but it's been well backed. It's 4 points shorter. Harada Sun, $2.50. They bet one roll longer. It's now one roll shy of that. It's been very well backed. And they're
racing in the Queen Elizabeth. Jumping out quickly was Coalesce with Grand Zulu. Desert War showing speed. Doubting is drifting back shortly after the start, and then came Harada Sun, just starting to work his way up steadily into fourth spot now, going past Spirit of Tara. And then came Confectioner, Red Robert, Railings and Molotov back at the rear. Coalesce is in front, just making Desert War do a little bit of work here in the early stages. Coalesce holding him out, and Desert War stoking up on the outside to take the lead now. Grand Zulu stoking up on the outside to take the lead now. Grand Zulu drops behind them, and that leading trio are already about 6 or 7 lengths in front of Harada Sun. 2 lengths to doubt, so in this pattern they run. Still a strung out field, and Desert War with Oliver starting to turn up the heat on the leader. Coalesce is still right on his back second, 3 lengths to Grand Zulu. They want to get moving shortly on these other ones. Harada Sun still about 7 lengths away. He's got to take the field up, and then came Spirit of Tara, followed by Doubting, Confectioner, Red Robert, Railings and Molotov on the inside. Desert War in front at the 600 metres. Oliver sitting down to ride him out now. Still a length and a half in front of Coalesce, and Grand Zulu's under the whip. 3 lengths to Harada Sun, steadily making headway. And then came Doubting, followed by Spirit of Tara, Molotov, and the others couldn't win. Around the home turn in the Queen Elizabeth, and Desert War is in front by about a length and a half on Coalesce. Now Harada Sun, the 3-year-old, is taken to the centre of the track and is going after Desert War. Desert War's in front. Harada Sun with every stride is coming after him. Can he wear down this old war horse, Desert War? Desert War's in front. Harada Sun's running off the track. He's running out of ground, and Desert War's going to lead all the way. He does it again. Desert War wins it from Harada Sun. Photo third, Spirit of Tara or Grand Zulu from Coalesce. And then we've got Molotov.
The War Horse does it again. Desert War here getting up in the Group 1 Queen Elizabeth starts. 2 starts ago, he broke Confectioner's heart. Today, Harada Sun also cost himself a bit by running.
5, 310, 150 Desert War. Harada Sun was gallant 130. Spirit of Tara.
Well, 7 Group 1s now for Desert War, and he makes you earn them. And Desert War wins the Queen Elizabeth. Harada Sun, gallant and brave, running second off to the paddock. We'll look forward to seeing him.
It's comfortable, and look, I don't know whether it was a quick backup or not, but I just found it very, very hard to get him actually travelling.
Were you surprised, like when you settled down, that?
You know, I mean,
what do you think right here now?
Well, I thought I was home, but you know, look, the whole race was just dragging it out of me, and that's what these top Group 1 horses can do. Like he's just made me really have to.
At the 190, on the side on, you get to, I'd say, spot on a length behind him, and look like you're going the better. The winning margin's 2 1/4. He's a tough horse, Desert War. How would you like to fight him?
I thought his best chance was to make it a true staying test, and you know, Harada Sun was I thought a little bit of a query at the distance, so I thought it was in our best interest to make it a true staying test and take it up a fair way out. Yeah. And you know, he's quite simply outstayed him yesterday.
What's he like to extend the preparation into Brisbane?
Will the performance of Harada Sun hold him in good stead going forward next preparation?
Oh, without a doubt. Look, this is a marvellous achievement. This horse is. In 15 days, he's nearly won 3 Group 1s on wet tracks, dry tracks, and look, he loomed to win here until Richard grabbed hold of his tail, you know, because the old Horse of the Year would have been gone if he loomed past him. This Andretti's Horse of the Year title is absolutely gone if he wins here.
But he didn't. No, look, he did a good job.
Good horse.
He did run off the track there, and maybe 2,000 metres is his limit. No, I'm not sure.
Oh, look, it's well documented. He's had a lot of problems with his feet. He's not going straight. There's obviously a problem there. You see him walk around the yard with his big flat feet equiloxed all over the place. So, look, give him a spell, give his time for his feet to grow out a little bit. He's a star. He's a star.
I tell you what, though.
He's a champion in his own right, isn't he, County Tyrone? He's a previous winner of the race, and this is the 5th time he's gone round in the Sydney Cup, 9th time over the 3,200.
Caroline 12. 640, 66.90 isn't far off the mark. New kid in
ground is the right.
Wear the same colours, same jacket, I should say, and different cap there on New Kid in Town. Starter's got the button, and they're racing in the Sydney Cup. And Prince Dandelion went straight back to the tail of the field. Magic Instinct is going back as well. And there's a swarm of leaders here early. Southern Courage out wide with Vanquished and Pentathon. They all drew out wide and they're trying to improve their positions. No Wine, No Song keeps them out there. New Kid in Town and Prince Arthur going forward as well. Gaelic just easing back behind them from Desert Master. Southern Tyrone, Prince Dandelion. Magic Instinct is second last and Arazu whipping them in. 800 to go. Desert Master just in front of Prince Arthur, who's still got the inside running. Now they're starting to make their runs, and No Wine, No Song is the first to come out of the pack. He's moving up to challenge for the lead now. Around the outside is Pentathon from Gaelic. Blue Tigeroo is saving a lot of ground right up near the inside. Ollie's taking the inside runs, and then came New Kid in Town and Prince Dandelion around the turn, and Prince Arthur's got his head in front. Blue Tigeroo's about to come up underneath him, and No Wine, No Song on the outside. They're nicely clear from Gaelic, getting into the clear, running on. They're stretched across the track, and it's No Wine, No Song. Blue Tigeroo, they're fighting it out from Prince Arthur, Prince Dandelion, and Gaelic. No Wine, No Song, Blue Tigeroo. No Wine, No Song is still in front with 100 to go. Gaelic's on the outside, and Arazu coming from the back. No Wine, No Song, and Gaelic. Gaelic sticks his head in front and wins the cup. Gaelic has won it from a wall of horses. Prince Dandelion, No Wine, No Song, and Arazu, all in a big bunch there from Blue Tigeroo, who didn't see out the trip. And then Magic Instinct followed by County Tyrone. Further back behind them next we had Arrowfield.
The Adelaide Cup winner now, a Sydney Cup winner number 2 in Gaelic for Stephen Arnold and Graham Rogerson, the winner there.
The line of Razu, the No Wine, So Not, Prince Dandelion, Blue Tigeroo just didn't run the 2 miles strongly out. The proven 2 miler Gaelic got the money. The Adelaide Cup, now the Sydney Cup double. The numbers are...
Chance for the people to see him, as one of our great buddies keeps saying, and I've just been trying to ring Dad, couldn't get onto him, but I know how he'll be feeling. It's fantastic for the whole team. It's exciting.
He's fought back from so many serious injuries, which would probably threaten many other horses' careers.
Yeah, well, they tried to put him down at the track one day at Caulfield when he fractured his pelvis. He's had tendon problems. It's very emotional.
Look, great scenes here as Stephen Arnold brings the horse back. Gaelic, $7, $2.30, $11.60 Arazu, $2.90 No Wine, No Song.
The troubles he's had, and to come back and win, three cups is sensational. Obviously Lloyd loves him, and Roger and all the staff do a tremendous job. You can see he's well loved.
Prince Dandelion, No Wine.
Well, Desert War's brave, but so too is that horse, Gaelic. He survived so much to be a racehorse, and now he's an Adelaide Cup and Sydney Cup winner for Lord Williams, beating Irazu, who was good. No Wine, No Song, terrific again. He looked in trouble about the 200 metre mark, Gaelic, Shane, but he just got there.
No, it was a touch of
When it saw the horse on the outside, I said, "Oh, you want to have a race?" I heard Lloyd Williams interviewed by Keith Hillier on radio yesterday morning. He said every horse in the stable's always for sale. He said, but there's one horse in the stable that's certainly not for sale. He said, that's Gaelic.
Lloyd Williams on the phone. Lloyd, Graham McNeese here, good morning.
Good morning, Graham, how are you?
Well, I'm fantastic, but how satisfying was that for you yesterday?
Probably, in a 40 or 50 year career, as satisfying as they get with a horse like that. He's a marvellous old horse. It's well documented, all the problems he's had.
Yes.
So it was a grand day yesterday. It was a day for Gaelic, the horse, a great rider in Steve Arnold. I thought that was an amazing staying ride. And, 70 or 80 staff that I've got here in Melbourne who got this horse to the races. So, I think it's a great tribute to horse, jockey and staff.
Lloyd, Richard Friedman here. Congratulations.
Hello, Richard, how are you?
Is this horse... Can you consider a Melbourne Cup start with him in the spring? Is he too old, or what do you think?
Richard, with a horse like this, you'd let him tell us. Time will tell riding him.
Beautiful.
Lloyd, you didn't come out of retirement. I see you paid pretty short in all the totes yesterday.
No, that's 20. Ron, that's 20 years ago. You'd think you're a major driver.
I just noticed he paid very short in all the totes.
Lloyd, no, it wasn't me.
That's strong.
Yeah, the All-Age Stakes, and great to see the global sprint champion take over target back in action. Joe Genix with us. Joe is
from a start in the Group 1 All-Age Stakes, the Daily Telegraph All-Age Stakes. Let's have a run through the totes, Richard.
Yeah, the champ, take over target, $4.10. $44, you can double that. Black Ink, $6.70, you can double that. Rightio, here we go. Bennock Bay, 100.
Racing. Oh, very even dispatch, and one of the best to begin was Virage de Fortune with Takeover Target striding up into second spot. On the outside, Fast and Famous, followed by Bentley Biscuit, who was away well, and he settles in fourth in the centre, followed by Cataclysm, and then came De Beers and at the rear of the field. He's slowing them right down in front here on Virage de Fortune. Corey Brown's got them stacked up, leads by about a length on Takeover Target, and then came Fast and Famous on the outside, followed by Cataclysm and Bentley Biscuit. It's hemmed away in between horses at the moment as De Beers comes up on the outside to keep it in the pocket. Bannock Bay back on the inside from Black Ink, and Malcolm last of all. Virage de Fortune slipped away on the turn. She's been well rated in front, and she's about 2 or 3 lengths clear over Takeover Target and Fast and Famous, and then came Cataclysm and wider out De Beers and Malcolm from the back. 200 to go, Virage de Fortune in front. They're starting to whittle the lead down now. Bentley Biscuit comes on the outside. Here comes the Biscuit. Bentley Biscuit raced up and took the lead. Black Ink's running on, but he does it again. Bentley Biscuit comes away to beat Black Ink and Malcolm, and then Fast and Famous and Takeover Target, followed by Virage de Fortune and Cataclysm and Bannock Bay, and De Beers is back at the tail of the field.
2 Group 1s in a row there for Bentley Biscuit, Nash Rawilla and Gay Waterhouse. He won the TJ last week. The TJ Smith comes out.
Bet 21.40 Bentley Biscuit, $2 Black Ink, Malcolm $1.60, Quinella $13.90, the exacta $23.50 try.
And it's marvellous because by winning the 2 Group 1 races, it really stamps him as a very definite representative for Australia in England.
I know you. Group 1 win last week, TJ Smith. 7 days later, Group 1 win again, the All-Age Stakes at 1,400 metres. He's a winner 11 out of 17. He's the real deal, and he's heading off to England, where his owner, George Moritoff, or part owner, lives, and he'll be running at Royal Ascot along with Takeover Target and Miss Andretti. Now, she's got a bit of an X-factor, hasn't she, that turn of foot, and I think you said last week you might have got to the front too soon on him. This week you're held up for other reasons.
Yeah, definitely, Bruce. I mean, and I was actually very mindful of that going out to riding, you know, stepping up to the 14 a week later. Although I look like I'm certainly in a bit of trouble there at certain stages, I was very confident that I was going well enough that I could get out when I needed to, and I knew that he's, you know, with his turn of foot, he'd pick him up pretty quick.
Well, 12 months ago, he ran third in the Doncaster as a very much an immature horse against Johan Stoyan Racing to Win, who won the Doncaster. I always thought he was going to be better suited at the 1400. I think the bookmakers only took a bit of a gamble with him yesterday, Bruce, thinking he was flattered last week because Spark of Life and Virage de Fortune had gone so hard. But I agree with Nash, 2 Group 1 placings, and a week Les Kelly over the moon.
What do you make of Takeover Target's run? Like, I
thought
know it was a big
good.
ask for him, with a big weight, and hadn't run for so long. I thought he was very gallant.
I thought he was good. I thought he was super. Long time off. Bruce spoke to Joe Janiak prior to the race.
There, and he gets the right pace on in the races and that, and he's just going beautifully.
You said he was a heavy tracker last week.
No, I didn't. I said exactly what I said this week, Ron. You do not listen. I said he's loving the give in the track. Right? That's what he's loving. He's had his issues. I think they've been well documented. He's had a few issues that they've managed with him with his legs, but he's just loving it. And I tell you what, he's a high-class horse who never runs a bad race. I think what's the worst he's finished is about 5th or something. He's a great horse.
No, he's a good horse.
Okay.
He found the right race here again.
As we reported, Ronnie, last week on Retro, Bentley Biscuits off to England. At this stage, Hugh Bowman is expected to take the ride over there, but there's a lot of water to go under the bridge, I guess, in time over the concluding stages. And Damien, Fast and Famous, you were just forced to cover a bit of extra ground.
Yeah, he got caught a little wide from his gate. An excellent run, I thought, and there's definitely a good race in him. If he draws well, gets the right run, he's capable of winning a Group 1. I think John's got in mind a couple of races in Brisbane for him.
Markets for the spring. Steve Moran loves these. He's got a big ticket with Trick of Light on its name there. So there's the Caulfield Cup. Fumicino, well, the Derby winner from Sydney, $11, Efficient 13. Look at the Cox Plate, and I'm sure Miss Finland's going to figure pretty prominently here. She does. $8, Harada San Marasco, $9, El Segundo Pompey Ruler, $11. She was unlucky. Melbourne Cup. Let's have a look at the Melbourne Cup market here. And, well, this is going to be interesting. Efficient's favourite there, but Pop Rock and Vengeance around. A lot of internationals in the market here. Delta Blues, of course, Hearts Cry and Yates. I'm sure we'll see a lot more internationals this year. And
just touching it. Steve Moran loves these. He's got a big ticket with Trick of Light on its name there. So there's the Caulfield Cup. Fumicino, well, the Derby winner from Sydney, $11, Efficient 13. Look at the Cox Plate, and I'm sure Miss Finland's going to figure pretty prominently here. She does. $8, Arada San Morasco, 9, El Segundo Pompey Ruler, $11. And, well, this is going to be interesting. Efficient's favourite there, but Pop Rock and Vengeance around. A lot of internationals in the market here. Delta Blues, of course, Hearts Cry and Yates. I'm sure we'll see a lot more